Hello, everybody. Joe Baggy Donuts here. Welcome back for another episode of Umineko. Last time we left off, they started cutting down trees again right next to my house. I was right. Like 5 minutes after I stopped recording, my entire house started shaking because they were dropping trees and using chainsaws and whatnot, and they're big, like, industrial, like, log mulcher. So that was great. Good timing on my part on stopping that. Also, what I did yesterday is I went back and looked like 2 episodes back to see what the fuck Anjay was freaking out about in the futon store. And there it was. Right there next to the whatchamacallit man, the boat captain guy. At least I think he was on the left. Just big old bag of Sakotaros. Like a lot of them in like just big old clear plastic bag. So yeah, that has some implications. Either one, the unlikely option, oh, someone saw the Sakataro design that Rosa made and it got popular after the fact and now they're all around. Oh, ain't that crazy? Or the more likely option, Rosa is a worse mother than we thought. It's surprising, I know. And she just bought Sakataro and lied and said she made him, in which case that, like, destroys the conceptual, like, basis of what Sakataro is in, like, the witch meta. Like, he's not a handmade furniture. Fucking bought him at Walmart. And like, oh, the only Sakataro can be remade by the person who made him, which is Rosa, because she's a master meister. Fucking nah, man. That got made in, like, Vietnam by some... Well, it's probably too early to be Vietnam, because, you know, early 80s. Man, maybe even still too early to be made in China. But, you know, low-quality sweatshop worker made him. One fucking dime a dozen. So, yeah. Turns out, magic ain't real. Moving on. In a world where everything had sunk into darkness, Beato questioned herself. Oh yeah, and Battler's, like, identity of who he is now called into question. And also, for the first time, maybe, question mark? Game Piece Beato has made her appearance. And Kinzo died too, but we don't really care about that. He was always gonna die.
やはり魔法は初めからマリアージュ・ソルシエールの中だけで
Yep, your little make-believe club.
使う。
そうだ
Little
ね。
LARPer circle.
マリアもエンジェの時にそう思ったよ。
魔女同盟はわらわとそなた、その二人で始めた他のものを混ぜようというのが
He
そもそも
diluted
の
it.
間違いであったのだ。
こんなにも楽しいからマリアたちはその輪に親しい誰かを加えたかったよね。
It may have gotten a little out of hand, though.
そうして魔女同盟がどこまでも大きくなってみんなで楽しく魔法が使えて幸せになれたらと願った。
だが魔法を理解できるのはやはりわらわとそなたの二人だけだった。
私たちは奇跡が巡り合わせたこの世界でたった二人しかいない魔女なんだよ。マリアはもうベアとさえいれば他には誰もいらないよ。
Just fuck for Julia, I guess.
わらわもだ。そなたさえいればもう誰もいらぬ。
マリアージュ・ソルシエールは結成したその一番最初の時点でもう完成していたんだよ。
そうまさに
Just what I wanted. Big old flashbang in my eyes. It was a witches' alliance to make everyone happy together with magic. I wonder when I got this screwed up. What was I trying to do when I started this game? Can't really remember even that. No, I may remember. Also, if I start, like, flubbing my lines, that's because I don't feel very good right now. I oversteeped my tea. I, like, started brewing it and then got distracted watching a YouTube video. And then when I remembered that it was there, it had been sitting for like 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, a little taste test. Okay, it's fine. But then I drank like 2.5 cups, and then I was like, oh god, I'm gonna fucking vomit. Like, my mouth just started uncontrollably salivating. That's usually my cue, like, yep, I'm gonna puke. But then as I shuffled my way to the bathroom in order to huck my guts out, I'm like, nope, I'm good. Deep breaths. And then it calmed down, and I had some water. And I still don't feel great, but, you know, I at least don't think I'm gonna vomit on the microphone, in which case, if that does actually happen, I'm not gonna mute it. You guys are gonna have to listen to it. It's gonna be like that one Demolition D stream, where he was playing, like, Dragon's Dogma, and he, like, was super drunk, and then he, like, started vomiting. But then he, like, picked up a cup to try to, like, catch it, and all you could hear is just, like, the sound of the vomit in the cup, like, reverberating into the mic. It was awful. You can look for it. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. Rest in peace, D. He's not dead. He just doesn't make YouTube videos anymore. But that's a feeling I now wish to throw away to the far side of oblivion.
いいよ。何もかも忘れてしまおう。二人だけのマリアージュ・ソルシエール。私たちは互いを認め合う。そして誰にも傷つけられない。だからもう傷つかない。泣かない。すべて忘れよう。ね、ベアと私たちは永遠だよ。
Yep, just curl up in your ball even tighter.
マリア
Oh, we were like right at the end of the chapter. Yep. Thank you. What's up, Ajay? Just jazzing out.
おっと、それは失礼。M ザッキーはお嫌いで？
It's probably a reference to someone. Amakusa turned off the radio. The world of cheery sounds was immediately swallowed up by the roar of the sea, and blotted out by the ocean's gray.
見えるかい？あの辺が当時の船着き場だ。
Yeah, but after 10 years of rough seas, how's it holding up? The boat captain pointed, the boat captain pointed, but I couldn't really recall how it looked 12 years ago. I believed that my memories of back then would come flooding back into my mind, but no memories were coming back to me at all. After the incident, the island was sealed off and left to the wild. Probably that's understandable. I had to tell myself, to stop myself from feeling somehow sad and hurt. But at least remember one thing. You could say that it would probably be the same anywhere on the sea, but at least this one thing I do remember. You hear them sea cats? The Uminekos? The cries of the seagulls. I do remember those. I almost never went to the ocean when I was young. So to me, everything that symbolized the ocean meant Rokonjima and my family getting together. In short, it was a symbol for the happiness of going out with my family. However, at this point in time, it even seems doubtful whether that was happiness at all. In my younger days, the trip had felt like a relaxed family vacation, but considering my parents' situation at the time, I'm sure it was a very difficult trip to handle. As I try not to puke in my mouth. With the distribution of the inheritance filling the place with a smell of flaring tempers and fuses about to blow. I can remember giggling all over the place, completely ignorant of my family's feelings.
六軒島ですかい。すべての始まりで、すべての旅の終着駅ってわけだ。
Amakusa tried too hard in an attempt to speak for my innermost feelings. The boat slowly rounded the island. As the angle changed, I hoped that my memories of the island's silhouette at the time might come back just a little. But in the end, even as the inlet was completely hidden by the cliffs, I wasn't able to remember anything.
船長、さっきの もう一つの船着き場の話を聞かせてください。
Oh, there's one in the back.
うん。
Is that for like dropping off supplies? Like
六
a
軒島に
like a
は
freight dock?
船着き場は一つしかないことになっとる。だがそれは表向きだ。
島裏のもう一つの隠された船着き場、六軒島そのものね。誰も知らない二つ目のもう一つの顔がある。
六軒島は後ろ宮家の領有する島だ。だが金蔵さん個人が所有する島
Uh-huh.
というもう一つの顔がある。
一つの島、二つの船着き場、二つの屋敷ですかい。愛人を囲うためだけに随分と金をかけたもんだ。
もう一つの船着き場のことを知る人間は
限られとる。金蔵さん、執事の源氏さん、わしら船の関係者、
Mm-hmm.
高齢の使用人がほんの数人だ。南城診療所の先代先生も熊沢のばあさんも知っとった。数えりゃ結構いるような気がするが、とにかく知っている人間はわずかだった。
In the grand scheme of things, not many. But, you know,
もう一つの屋敷について教え
of
て
the
くださ
people
い。
we're acquainted with, quite a handful.
クワドリアンちゅう名前のお屋敷があるとだけは聞かされておった。わしは船を離れることを許されんかったから一度も見たことはないが。
船着き場からは見えないくらいに遠いということですかい。
Well, there's a lot of trees on Rokenjima.
わからん。ただ隠し屋敷だからな。外からは見えん場所に建ててあったろうな。とにかくクワドリアンについてはあの島の最高の秘密だった。
So, man, like, Kraus must not have tried at all, you know, to find the hidden mansion on Rokenjima where the gold is hidden or whatever. If, you know, like, Rokenjima's not that big.
クワドリアンにベアトリーチェが住まわされていた、あるいは幽閉されていたという説がありますが、船長はどう考えますか。
わしはクワドリアンへの雑貨も運んでおった。その中に女しか使わんような、それも高級なもんが含まれることも多かった。わしもその説を確信しとる。
では船長はベアトリーチェって女を直接見たことはないわけですか。
ない。20年近く出入りをしたが一度も見たことはない。
Well, she never left.
20年。ひゅー。
So I
っ
say
て
the
ことは
crowns, but it's more like
最
a
低でも年
compact.
齢プラス20ってわけだ。こりゃマドモアゼルは期待できねえな。
だがクワドリアンへの出入りはある日を境にぷっつりとなくなっちまった。
Yeah, almost like she fell off a cliff and hit her head on some
今
rocks.
からだいたい30年前だから昭和43年頃だったと思う。
ぷっつりと突然。
食料やゴミなどの運搬往来でわしらは決められた日程で裏に行っとった。ああ、裏っちゅうのはクワドリアン側の船着き場のことだ。
Alright, makes sense. I was about to say, like, why don't they just, like, burn it all? You know, have an incinerator on site so that way you don't need to pick up the trash, but, you know, that would make some smoke.
わかります。それで
ある日源氏さんから急な連絡があった。別の指示があるまで裏には行かなくていいって言うんだ。
別の指示とは。
Nope.
特にはなかった。早い話がある日突然裏には今後定期便はいらない、食料も届けなくていいと言われたわけだ。わしは最初クビにされたのかと思ったよ。だがすぐに気づいた。
No one was going.
それにクワドリアンのことを知る使用人たちの様子からもなんとなく察しがついた。
ベアトリーチェが死んで食料を届ける必要も世話人を送る必要もなくなった。
わしはそう考えとる。それっきり裏へ船を出せという指示は受けてない。しかし裏については死ぬまで何も喋るなと。その後源氏さんが直接わしのところへ来てえらく強く念を押した。
その20年間も放置されていた隠し屋敷に
Yeah, it's gonna be in
どう
pretty
して
rough
エヴァお
shape.
ばさんが。
That day 12 years ago, Ushermia Ava somehow escaped harm alone in a hidden mansion 2 kilometers away from the regular mansion. Also, again, 2 kilometers is not very far. That's like a mile, you know, if we're rounding. Why was she in a hidden mansion that had been forgotten for 20 years?
ワイドショーで見たよ。わしにも何が何だかさっぱりわからん。エヴァさんを裏へ案内したことは一度もない。どうやってクアドリアンを知りたどり着いたのか。わし
裏のクアド
Found the
リアン
hidden
に
passageway.
陸路で行くことは不可能だったのかしら。
もしも話通りに未開の密林だとしたら、おめかしした奥様風情に踏破できるもんじゃありませんぜ。
じゃあ回路モーターボートみたいなものがあったとか。
まさかあの二晩の台風は、
Yeah.
そりゃひどいもんだった。船なんぞ使えるわけもない。
じゃあ屋敷とクアドリアンを直通
That's
する。
more like it.
例えば愛人の家へ出入りするのに毎回船の用立てが必要なんて面倒でしょ。
Doesn't look like it
全
was,
長
you
2
know,
キロメー
mined
トル
out
の六
well,
軒
for
島
most
の
of it
対
anyway.
角線上に
Just
存在する
underground
屋敷を
cave
つな
system
ぐため
that,
に
you know,
そんだけの長い
puts the
地下トンネル
platforms in and
を
bada bing bada boom, you got a hidden tunnel.
バカにしてえところだが、愛人のために隠し屋敷まで作っちまう大富豪だ。それも否定できんところですね。どうなんですか船長。
わしは海の人間だ。穴のことはわからん。だが硫黄島で旧日本軍は25キロのトンネルを掘ってみせた
Also
ぞ。
that. Didn't even think about that. Old fucking World War II fortifications.
あの金蔵さんなら2キロくらい掘ってみせてもわしは何も驚かん。
Maybe they started some and he just had to finish it off.
やっぱりおかしな島ね。私たちはこの島のことを未だ誰一人何も知らない。
Like they say Rokujima was abandoned, but, you know, well, uninhabited. Who knows? The boat reached the shore. There would be a short walk to reach the
わ
mansion.
しはここで待っている。屋敷は向こうだ。当時の道が残っているだろうが、草木で覆われてしまってるはずだ。迷わんように気をつけてな。
I was about to say, if it's a beaten path, you know, animals would probably still track it, you know, trek on it, and you'd be able to find it. But then again, once again, Rokunjima, uninhabited island that apparently doesn't have, like, any big, like, fauna on it. Or is it? Yeah, fauna. Flora is the plants, fauna are the animals.
ほんじゃ行きましょうかね。
ありがとう天草。あんたもここで待ってて。
ま、そう言い出すんじゃないかと思って
Yep, we
ま
can't
した
have our
ぜ。
magic adventure with you around.
届け物をするだけよ。あなたが一緒だと向こうが迷惑するの。あんたの毒素強そうだから。
毒素はて。
すぐに戻るわ。
Don't worry about it.
今日の本命はクアドリアンの方だもの。届け物をしたらすぐに戻ってくるわ。
Anjay put on her knapsack and grabbed the flowers she was planning to offer.
さしてやれ若いの。行ってこいお嬢ちゃん。あんたの家族が待っている。
I'd never been on a road like this, but I had no trouble finding my way. If I walked straight ahead, it would probably guide me to the final destination for everything. The vegetation certainly was incredible, and you would lose track of the path if you were careless enough to let your attention drift. Sure about that? I'm seeing some pretty, some pretty well-marked brick stairs. But I'm pretty sure we just have to use our imagination here, and they're just reusing the background CG. But the road that was left was much better than I had imagined. Still, that didn't change the fact that it was a bad road. Contrary to the distance shown on the map, I was forced to walk a long way. Well, yeah, switchbacks will do that. The forest was deep and dark, as they show this wide-open bright meadow. At the time, I had been threatened to stay away from the forest because a witch lived there. Of course, that fear is gone now, but I feel it. Other people may not be able to, but I can feel the presence, like an aura, of the Golden Witch Beatrice. Massive, oddly shaped rocks scattered here and there, overgrown trees and ivy, the voices of birds and bugs. Yeah, I can feel it. I can feel that that witch is here. Ahead, an ivy-covered construction fence site and a warning sign stood. No entry. Tokyo Metropolis? That was what was written there. Oh, right. When you think Tokyo, you tend to think of the city. But address-wise, even Rokkenjima is a rightful part of Tokyo Metropolis. Fuck, I hate that word. I always want to say like metropolitan, but, you know, metropolis, I guess, is the proper word here. Like metropolitan area. Also, damn. Rokkenjima ain't that far away, huh? Well, Tokyo's massive. And, like, the metropolitan area is even bigger. But to even have Rokkenjima included in it, you know. Goddamn Kanto people. Apologizing to the sign for my mistaken impression, I climbed over the fence. When I made it up the steep slope beyond that, my field of vision rapidly expanded, and a fresh sea breeze blew through my hair. It was like the top of a little hill. Below me was the vast view of the island. I can only see the desolated forest and rocky crags spread out below me. But somehow, I realized that the mansion was probably somewhere around here. The steep downward slope beyond this hill had probably been caused by landslides from 12 years of wind and rain. It had become a slant filled with cracks that you might even call gentle cliffs. And though it would be easy to tumble down, it looked like climbing back would be pretty difficult. It seemed that proceeding any further would be impossible. If I continued any further, I wouldn't be able to return. In other words, this is the border. Between 1986 and 1998. That day and today. And this world and the other.
ここがこの旅の終着点みたいね。
As the strong wind blew Mamin and Sakutaro's hair, they looked down from the hilltop.
ここからじゃさっぱりわからないわ。お屋敷はどこ？もっと近づきましょうよ。無理だよ。戻ってこれなくなっちゃうよ。
We won't be able to come back. Huh. He's right. This is 1998, and I am the Ushinomiya Anjay who has been left all alone. At first, it was a journey to die, but not anymore. It's become a journey to accomplish something.
だからごめんね、二人とも。あの日の私なら何も戸惑わずにこの崖を降りるだろうけれど。
ビルの屋上から飛び降りた後ろ宮エンジェが情けない。
ごめんね。
ここでも同じだよ。あの日の風が感じられるから。こんな風だったっけ？
It was whipping a little more violently, but
もうすぐ来てくれるよ、みんな。
Sakutaro said it as though it was completely natural. And I believed it. Mom, Dad, Oni-chan, all of my relatives and those fun servants. And Morihone-chan.
私よ、エンジェよ、私は帰ってきたわ。
When I started my final journey to expose the past 12 years ago, its goal had been abstract and I hadn't understood. But now, I have no doubts. This journey was induced by all kinds of thoughts and fates over 12 years. A journey to end things, for me, Ushinomiya Anjay. And a journey to end things as the final witch of the Mirage Sorcière. I came here as the final daughter of the Ushinomiya family, and as the final witch.
お父さん、お母さん、お兄ちゃん、ごめんね。先にマリアお姉ちゃんとの挨拶をさせてね。
A strong gust of wind from behind urged me on. The gust that just took my soul out from inside my body to the vast forest beneath me. And, though I couldn't see it from where I stood, I believed that it would fly me to the mansion on that day. To where everyone was. To where Morihone-chan was. And so, even though my body was on top of the cliff, a strong wind blowing against me, my soul was now certainly dancing through that sky. The vast, vast sky of Rokkenjima. Below me was the green of many trees. But I can tell. I can comprehend the presence of my family and relatives and all the servants. And Morihone-chan too. I could even comprehend Morihone-chan as a witch. It was vast, more vast than any space I'd imagined up until now.
マリアお姉ちゃん、聞こえる？聞いて。
Anjay shouted to the Maria of that day that she had been through a long journey, and that she had learned just how much she had wounded Maria Oni-chan on the day she was young. Having understood magic, I now understand everything about the world Maria wanted to show me. It was so warm and overflowing with kindness and happiness. She had wanted to become even happier by sharing that world, but I had trampled it.
だから私、今こそ全部理解したの。魔法を理解した。私たちの魔法はきっととてもささやかで身近にあふれてる。でもそれは誰の目にも見えるものではないのよ。魔法とは。ええ、はっきり言えるわ。
Load of crock! Without love, it cannot be seen. Sorry, One-chan. I've already been excommunicated from the Witches' Alliance, but after all this time, I now understand how wonderful it is. And I know that the day after I wounded you, Mirage Sorcière was transfigured into something different from what you truly desired. Back in those days, even magic that allowed you to vent your anger by cursing people was probably important to you. Your environment was unhappy enough for you to be allowed that.
でももうそんな悲しい日々は終わったよ。だからお姉ちゃんの魔女同盟を元の優しいマリアージュ・ソルシエルに戻っ。
She was done. The grimoire was in my hands without me realizing it. Strong winds were rapidly blowing its pages one after another. It had been a kind world at first. What to do to create magic so that candy rained from the sky? What to do to... Okay, sure. There's too many O's there. To do to threw me off. What to do to create magic so that tomorrow's dinner becomes cream croquettes? Croquettes? I'm pretty sure croquet is like the little fucking game you play with the mallets and balls in the yard. What to do to create magic so that tomorrow's weather is good when you go out and you have fun all day. And you have a fun day. New magics of happiness were created one after another, coloring her world with kindness. Those days were flipped through one after another, and the days and months began to flash by like memories. The pages with drawings that were colorful gradually changed into pages colored only with black ink. Eerie magic circles and demon summonings. Evil magic for harming people. What to do to create magic so that the class bully catches a cold. What to do to create magic so that you know who in class gets seriously injured and dies. What to do to create magic so that a bus with all the bullies on it falls off a cliff. Malicious magics were created one after another, filling the pages in her heart.
私がお姉ちゃんを傷つけたからマリアージュ・ソルシエルはこんなになってしまった。お姉ちゃんは黒き邪悪な魔女じゃない。白き無垢で無邪気な優しい魔女だったのよ。
Yeah, she's having a little bit of a temper tantrum.
元に戻してあげる。元のみんなを幸せにする魔法を世界中に振りまいていたマリアお姉ちゃんに戻してあげる。そのために私はここへ来た。運命に導かれてきた。お姉ちゃん。
Yeah, no more fucking Madoka magical girls. You know, let's roll it back to like Mickey Momo or something. But, you know, except the part where you don't get hit by a truck and die, and then get reincarnated and whatnot, and then just pretend that never happened.
その姿を私の前に見せて。
That voice rode an even stronger wind and was sent 12 years into the past. Then, the wind gradually ceased, and silence fell. Crunch, crunch. I could hear the sound of gravel being stepped on. I heard those footsteps and was surprised at that miracle. Without a doubt, those footsteps were Maria One-chan's.
マリアお姉ちゃん。
Or it's Cosme here to fucking shoot you.
かすみよ、ようやく見つけたわよ。 エンジェちゃん。
Before I knew it, Aunt Kazumi and her black suits, a total of 7 people who didn't resemble Maria One-chan in the slightest, were standing there, surrounding me. And it felt like my voice had been just about to reach Maria One-chan too. Because of these guys' toxin, the magic got interrupted. Anjay clicked her tongue at that, but Kazumi probably didn't hear it that way.
そのお花は亡くなった家族への。偉いわ。それ投げるんでしょ。いいわよ。それまで待ってあげる。
Before what? Anjay could more or less guess. The way the black suits had their hands unnaturally stuck into their pockets made me realize that they were obviously in possession of handguns. This is a deserted island. There could be no more convenient place to dispose of someone. I have absolutely no interest in the family matters of the Sumadera family. But if I die, all that wealth will roll right into the Sumadera family coffers. Unlike me, they probably have a great deal of interest in it. Of course, the Ushiromiya group has a stake in this too. It seems that if the massive amounts of stock I own suddenly go to the Sumaderas, it'll be pretty bad for the Ushiromiya group as well. And so they've apparently gotten themselves embroiled in a secret feud over me. It's probably why President Okanogi gave me Amakusa as a guard. Having Amakusa wait on the boat was a regretful mistake.
おばさん、いつからここで待ち伏せを？
I mean, that's also implying he didn't just tail you anyway.
早朝からよ。おかげですっかり待ちくたびれちゃったわ。何しろ喫茶店もお化粧室もないからね。
トイレもないから、お上品に木陰で用を済ませていたわけね。
仮にもスマデラ家の血を半分引いてる淑女が、そんな汚らわしい言葉を使うんじゃないわ。
Sorry, pinch a log.
やっぱりスマデラ切り絵の子ね。気品のかけらもありゃしない。
She grabbed me by the hair and forced my face up to hers, and then spat in it. My words are filthy, but her spit's not to be outdone.
おばさんが私のことを話すと、いつも母さんのこと
Now,
ば
what
か
a
り。
fucking chip on your shoulder.
私、そんなにも母さんに似てますか？
ええ、似ているわ。その生意気そうな目つき。鼻も口もそっくりよ。自由奔放で無責任。歴史と伝統あるスマデラ家の重みなど何も考えず、自分勝手に家を飛び出したわ。おかげで、私の人生はずっとその尻拭い。
Well, that sucks for you.
まさにあんたの人生、クソまみれね。
I was slapped on the cheek. My ear took a heavy hit, and for an instant, my head rang. She pulled me around by the hair and threw me onto the ground. And, without a moment's pause, she kicked the ground, covering me in sand.
ああ、本当に姉さんに似てきたわ。その目つき、そのどこか小馬鹿にした目つきよ。はあ、思い出すわ、いろいろと。
哀れな人ね。きっと幼い頃から何かにつけて母さんに比較されて蔑まされてきたんでしょうに。そしてあんたは一生その惨めさから解放されやしないわ。
お前みたいな小娘にはわからないわよ。あんたのお母さんはね、何もかもを投げ出してスマデラ家を逃げ出した負け犬なのよ。
You know, if you're anything to go by, the Sumadera family sucks.
その負け犬のせいで
I mean, the Ushiromiya family sucks
ど
too,
れほ
but
ど迷
like,
惑したことか。
to a lesser degree.
あんたの迷惑なんか私の知ったこっちゃないわ。私の生まれる前の
Yeah, don't
話
give
を
us
さ
that
れても
fucking
困
sins
る
of the
わよ。
father bullshit.
あんたの人生はいつ始まるの？始まりゃしないわ。いつまでもいつまでも永久に死んだ母さんに嘲笑われ続け、そのまま死ぬのよ。というか死ねばなんで生きてるの？
この口の減らないガキが。あんたたちちょいとお茶をしてやりなさいな。
You really gotta speak in code when there's no one here.
お任せを。口の利き方も知らねえクソガキが少し勉強させてやるぜ。
The black suits dashed up to me, violently grabbing me by the collar and dragging me down.
私が一服終えるまでに適当に可愛いメイにちょいと身の程を教えてあげなさい。
Sumidera Kazumi. She was a pitiful person, to think of it. To the outside world, the women of the Sumidera family were trained to be in a position to support and defer to the men of the prominent positions. But in actuality, strong leadership was demanded of them so that they could manage all the people under them. The role demanding of them was that of the female commander. Taking charge of the Sumidera family with all its proud history required an extraordinary level of commanding presence. It was an unimaginably heavy responsibility. Normally, this would have been demanded of Kyrie. Kyrie had undergone that harsh training, and Kazumi, as the younger sister, should have been able to just take it easy. No, in fact, she had been living like she had lived like a lazy, selfish, and affluent princess, sneering at Kyrie, who had been given the heavy responsibility. However, Kyrie was suddenly disinherited. She had refused the fiancé her parents had arranged and gotten pregnant by her lover, Ushirmiya Rudolph. From the Sumidera family's perspective, even though the Ushirmiya family held a vast fortune, it was a family which had already collapsed, a family not in their league. And to become not even a legal wife but a lover to the second son of that family, normally, no one would be shown mercy for something so dishonorable, not even a daughter of the main family. They would wrap her up in a mat, stand a pole on the end, and throw her either into the Pacific Ocean if the pole fell to the right, or the Sea of Japan if it fell to the left. But Kyrie's punishment was nothing but disinheritance, an unbelievably lenient decision. After that, the Sumidera family began receiving preferential treatment from a section of the Ushirmiya group. It must have been some kind of backroom deal. In other words, Kyrie took advantage of the Ushirmiya family's financial support to leave the Sumidera family openly. Kazumi watched it happen in shock. No, she even disparaged her dishonorable sister as a loser. But eventually, she learned that the heavy responsibilities Kyrie had borne would be passed on to her. And then, for the first time, she realized that she had been outwitted.
あんたの母親のせいで私の人生はめちゃめちゃにされたわ。いいえ、一度殺されたと言ってもいい。あの日に私は一度殺されて地獄のような日々に突き落とされたのよ。
それまで人生舐めてきたツケじゃない。
Yeah.
口の減らねえ小娘だぜ。うら!
The black suit punched me in the gut and I doubled over. But I was quickly grabbed by the collar and made to stand up again. As she continued to cold-heartedly look down upon Anjay, Kazumi blew out smoke. The hard days after Kyrie left were floating through her mind. Till then, she had been allowed to simply be a rich young lady, unrestrained and unaffected. Only Kyrie, the older sister, had been strictly trained, and she, the younger sister, had been able to live as nothing more than a princess. Then suddenly, everything was turned over to such a degree that her life tumbled and crashed.
私の人生も生活も生き方も何もかもを奪われたわ。事情を知らない親類からは姉さんの不名誉を理由にどれだけ蔑まれたことか。呪ったわ。あなたのお母さんを血を吐くほどに呪ったわよ。
そりゃ嬉しいわ。これからもよろしく。
A kick landed in Anjay's side as she lay prostrate on the ground. Anjay didn't stand up again. So she continued to lie there like a caterpillar, getting kicked every time she spoke up.
姉さんを後ろ宮グループのパーティーで見かけたわ。
Yep, looking so happy.
あいつ、旦那と一緒でとても幸せそうに笑ってやがったわ。私に全部を押し付けて自分だけ幸せに。
だから
Yeah, that's a you problem there.
私に八つ当たりするとどうあんたが幸せになるってわけ。私に八つ当たりすると時間が巻き戻って歴史が変わったりしてくれるわけ。
あんた、さっき言ったわね。
Well, she said a lot of things. You have to
私の人
specify.
生はいつ始まるのって。いくら恨んでも八つ当たりしても時間を巻き戻すことなんてできない。
Nope.
じゃあ私は死ぬまでこうして死んでもなお姉さんを恨み続けて。
Bitches will really track their niece to a deserted island with armed thugs instead of just going to therapy.
冗談じゃないわ。いつまで私は姉さんの亡霊に苛まれてなきゃならないのよ。
I don't know, forever at this rate.
だから考えたのよ。これを成し遂げたら全ての恨みを忘れてやり直せるってね。
I mean, it might feel good for like a couple of days, but it's just gonna come back. Ajay was about to respond with another bitter comment, but stopped. Guess she would be kicked again if she responded. Even if Kazumi didn't say anymore, it was difficult to imagine what she meant. It wasn't difficult to imagine. Kazumi was thinking of bringing an end to her hatred of Kiri by taking revenge against her daughter, Anjay. Talk about pushing your problems on other people.
ほら、立ちなさいよ。そんなにこの島が大好きならしっかり深く埋めてあげるわよ。その若さで死にたくないでしょ。
Yeah.
母が迷惑をかけてすみませんでしたとか言ってみたくはならない？
誰が言うもんか。
エンジ様、ダメ！こいつらを挑発しちゃダメです。ここは表向きだけでも調子を合わせて時間を稼ぐべきです。
Yeah, just play along.
くだらないプライドは燃えないゴミの火に出しとけってよく言うわね。
Yep.
天草さんは天草さんが来てくれればきっと。ダメ、あいつの姿は見えないわ。エンジ様のバカ、どうして天草を置いてきたんです？
Nah, she was trying to be dramatic and moody, but I don't need you to tell me that, Mammon. I'm already right in the middle of regretting it. I walked a long way to get here. The forest was very thick, so there's no way that the disturbance here will reach the boat. As Kazumi took her sweet time smoking that single cigarette down to the filter, I was continuously laid into by the black suits however they deemed fit. The moment I grabbed my head to protect it, the top of my head was kicked by someone at a bad angle, and my head filled with stars. This feeling of stars flickering in a world twisted with gray was one I knew well. My life was very similar to the one Sumadera Kazumi led, because I was tormented constantly with all kinds of bullying under the guise of education and training to make me a worthy successor to the Ushiromiya family. Yes, having the inside of my head filled with stars like this is a feeling I know well. When being reprimanded for some error in manners I seem to have made, the lectures always turned to whether I was fitting or fit to be the successor to the Ushiromiya family or not. On and on about the honor of the Ushiromiya family and how important it was. By the time her rant reached that point, I'd forget what mistake I was being blamed for in the first place. No, actually, it was the same way for Aunt Ava too. After all, sometimes she would ask herself, what was I saying again? But in the end, she wouldn't be able to remember and would say something like,
私が怒っているということはきっとエンジェが何か悪いことをしたのだろう。ならその悪いことが問題なのであって何をしたかなんて今さら思い出せなくても問題ない。
There'd be some ridiculous reasoning like that, and she would continue punishing me. Yes, Aunt Ava's punishments weren't something that would continue until I learned something, or acknowledged my mistake, or apologized. They would continue until Aunt Ava wanted to stop. So even this violence was a bit nostalgic, in a way that made me want to vomit. I opened my eyes, and oh look, there's Aunt Ava. Right next to Kazumi, who was smoking her cigarette. I could see Aunt Ava, the two of them, looking almost as though they were laughing at me together. What chums, what old pals. When I think about it, even Aunt Ava's life might have been worthy of sympathy. The responsibilities and pressures of members of the Ushiromiya family, which she had so often mentioned to me, were all things that she herself had suffered. because people cannot voice insults that they have never been subjected to themselves. It's probably the same way for Aunt Rosa as well. As the youngest child of the glorious Ushirmiya family, she must have gone through many tough times. So, just as Aunt Ava acted towards me, and just as Sumadera Kazumi is acting right now, Aunt Rosa must have also have been the same. Yeah, she had a mean right hook, apparently. People push the suffering that they have been made to bear onto other people. Otherwise, they can never escape from it. And so on, in eternity and perpetuity, the chain of suffering and sadness never ends. That is the reason Mirio-ne-chan's magic was so incredible. With her magic, she did not have to bear the suffering from Aunt Rosa. Pain was probably pushed onto her. Its weight probably tormented her. But One-chan did not carry that burden on her own shoulders. She exercised it and filled her world with happiness. So I'm sure that even if Mirio-ne-chan had children in the future, she would never have pushed the suffering forced down through the generations onto them. The chain of suffering and sadness, which had been inherited by and forced upon each generation for who knows how long, was, by Mirio-ne-chan's magic, broken.
なーに？私に何か文句でもあるの？
In the past, I would have snapped back and canceled out her hatred with hatred of my own. No, I canceled out nothing. The weight of which had been forced onto her bears down hard on my shoulders as well. After all, even now, I hate her. So, now that I knew of magic, I looked at the human called Ushirmiya Eva again. What I could see through to was the sad form of a human, no different from me, who had lost her family and who bore deep wounds in her heart. Unable to withstand the pain of the torn heart, she was doing nothing except howling with a sad voice, like a lion crying in pain, like a child. Turns out, Ushirmiya Eva was also a person deserving of compassion. Maybe at some point, but, after so long, there's only so much you can do. She had needed someone to understand the difficulties and pain of her childhood days, and she too, as the only survivor of the Rokujima incident, was faced with the inquisitive eyes of society, who was publicly slandered, and who had salt continuously rubbed in her wounds, had needed someone's compassion. In order to let her forget her pain and sorrow for at least a moment, the Black Witch, the very same that possessed Aunt Rosa, taught her magic. It was the same magic of anger and sadness that Beatrice had taught Mirio-ne-chan when she mourned for Sakataro after he was torn apart. That same magic, that witch, had surely dwelled inside Aunt Rosa too. So I was wrong to hate Ushirmiya Eva. Perhaps I alone was supposed to have become her ally, the only person in the world who could understand her. What did I say to her when I was young, when she returned alive all alone? Could it be that the way I acted towards her was as if she had come back by herself after killing all my family? Can't believe it. Aunt Ava, who throughout my life had never been more than an object of and synonym for hatred, is turning into a human who I can understand. So, I looked right next to Aunt Ava at the form of the Black Witch who taught her that black magic. Aunt Ava was crying. It was only natural. Not only did she have no one who could understand her pain of having lost her husband and son all at once, but even I, her only relative, insulted her, saying, "Give me back my mom and dad." I can make the excuse that it was the mercilessness of youth, but to her at the time, that was probably cruel enough to sever her heart's last thread. In the following days, the talk shows and magazines publicly slandered her. The truths of her late husband's business and character, and even those about her beloved son, were denied. She no longer had anything left. She could do nothing but cry and howl, trying to forget the pain and sadness for just a few moments. Because only while howling could she feel the slightest bit of release. And so, the Black Witch taught her how to howl. While throwing punches. The one I hated was the Black Witch. The black magic probably did release her from that suffering for just a short while. However, it would never lift that weight from her shoulders. To the contrary, it would force that weight on further victims, filling the world with the weight of hatred. If Aunt Ava was to have a true witch nearby, one who knew of white magic, wasn't that supposed to be me? I'd learned the magic to create happiness from Marione-chan. If I could have saved her with that magic, might we not have built up a future with a completely different relationship? All this time, I had hated Aunt Ava, so I never noticed that black witch beside her. Without love, it couldn't be seen. I didn't have any love for her. So now finally, I'll glare at the black witch, the one I truly should hate.
あら
Hey, Ava.
何私のことが見えるの
見えるわ。私が憎むべきはエヴァおばさんじゃなかった。あんたよ。
すごいじゃない。人間の分際で魔女の私が見えるなんてね。それでその目つきは何だと言いたいわけ？私が憎い？
憎い？
Not really. It's just kind of pitiful.
ええ、憎いわ。でも少し違う。ただ悲しく思える。
悲しい？
Oh, but look at her. She's having such a great time. What do you mean?
何言ってんの？いいじゃない。怒れば。思いっきり憎んじゃえば？
Well, yeah, it's like she said, it's kind of mixed in there, but really it's just, on top of like you're just kind of like a little fucked up, ain't you? It kind of gets drowned out and mellowed.
憎まないわ。あんたを憎むことはエヴァおばさんの憎しみをそのまま受け継ぐだけ。私は憎しみを断ち切るエヴァおばさんの苦しみを受け止め、それを払って捨てるの。
何悟ったようなこと言ってるわけ？こいつ頭大丈
Not
夫？
really. She's been getting kicked around quite a bit.
か、へそでも噛んで死んじゃえば。あんたらもっともっと蹴ってやりなさい。顔とかはダメよ。気の毒な顔がマシになっちゃったら
Yeah,
つまんない
then we have to redraw the sprites. Get an Andre's black eye. The black suits persistently kicked my stomach and back, as though they had been ordered by the Black Witch.
やれやれ、答えないね。私をじーっと見ちゃって。私が憎いでしょ？私もよ。
Kazumi sneered at me, but for some reason, I had a feeling that she was crying behind that expression. She had a life just as unfair as mine forced upon her, and the pain of that never, ever heals. The sad lion continues to howl, gasping in pain from the thorn he can't get out.
ほら、スマデラかすみ、見て
Wait,
ごらんな
you
さ
gonna
い
be。the mouse in this little fable?
かつてのあんたがそこにいるわ。気分が晴れるでしょう。かつてそこにいたあなたが今度はこっち側にいるのよ。
So damn, Ava, you need to go see a dentist. Now some braces will fix those
愉
teeth
快
up.
でしょう。立場が逆になるのは。
本当に愉快だわ。なんでそんな顔ができるのよ、エンジェ。
Oh, well, getting kicked in the ribs tends to do that to
泣き
people.
なさいよ。泣きたいんでしょ？
そうそう、泣きたいに決まってる。泣かせちゃいなさいって。あの時のあんたは泣かされちゃったじゃない。だからこいつも泣かせてやりなさいよ。エンジェもいいのよ。泣いちゃえば。
泣きなさいよ、エンジェ。あんたの泣き顔が見たいのよ。泣いて、ごめんなさい、かすみおばさんって言ってごらんなさいよ。
That ain't my fault.
そう、その言葉を言わせるのよ。あの言葉、辛いでしょ？自分のせいじゃないことを謝らせられるのって本当に辛かったでしょ？同じ思いをさせてやるのよ。そうすることであなたの痛みは和らげることができるの。そうよ、それでいいのよ。もっと自分に素直になりなさい。もっともっといっぱいに自分の感情を吐き出しちゃえば。
Well, that's not very productive. The Black Witch stirred Kazumi up, and Kazumi began to give herself over to that dark emotion. She's doing nothing more than turning her deep sadness into cheap booze and forcing it down, trying to forget for just a brief moment. The words Kazumi insulted me with were themselves sad, and I couldn't forgive the Black Witch for taking advantage of Kazumi's sadness. I'd gone limp on the ground, which seemed to have sapped the black suits of their enthusiasm for kicking. Maybe the kickers had finally gotten tired too. Kazumi hadn't ordered them to stop, but at some point, the violence had halted. However, I was reflected in Kazumi's eyes, and they were burning me with flames of hatred. She had been tempted by the witch into doing that in order to relieve her own pain. Man, I butchered that sentence in the middle there. Moving on.
スマデラかすみ、まだよ。まだまだ踏みにじりなさい。あなたの人生はこんなほんのちょっとの乱暴で許せるの？
許せないわよ。まだこれくらいでは許せないんだから。
でしょ？許せるわけがない。もっとよ。もっと憎悪の炎を。憎しみの炎でしか
Now let's get
あなたは
creative.
暖を取れないの。怒りと悲しみの雪原で凍えるあなたを温められる炎は憎しみだけなのよ。ほら言って、叫んで、憎しみの方向で自分を燃やし尽くしちゃえば。
後ろ宮エンジェー。あんたを憎まなくちゃ
Hungry.
私は生きてられないの。
And the suits are just standing there like, yeah.
スマデラかすみ、あの花束を。
Trample it.
これ、死んだ家族への花でしょ？エンジェ。
The Black Witch grinned at me unpleasantly and used her chin to signal Kazumi to pick them up. Kazumi picked up the flowers I was going to offer, brought them all the way over to me, dropped them in front of me, and made a show of trampling them. Her expression was filled with hatred, and a frantic quality that simple hatred couldn't explain. It was as if trampling them over and over again was the only way to prevent the sadness inside her from reaching the bursting point. So the sound of her trampling was downright sad.
あら、この程度じゃ答えない？ならこっちは答えるかしら。スマデラかすみ、こっちを使いなさい。ダメ。それは。
The book. The object the Black Witch pointed at was Murio Nechan's grimoire. Kazumi also noticed it and picked up that book, which was heavier than it looked.
なにこれ。
読んじゃえば。
Yeah, a little memento.
お腹がよじれちゃうかもね。
Kazumi opened the grimoire, skimmed over the contents, and snorted derisively.
返して。それはお姉ちゃんの。
Of course, my hand couldn't reach. My stomach was once again kicked by the black suits, and I curled up on the ground.
ほらね、この本はエンジェにとっての大切なものでしょ？大切なものをけなしてやりなさい。こういう子には殴る蹴るよりもそっちの方が効くんだから。あなたがそれを一番よく知っているでしょ？
Kazumi's face twisted for an instant, as though remembering something painful. But that quickly disappeared, changing into a scornful smile directed towards me.
この気持ち悪い本あんたが書いたの？
Yeah, the handwriting shit.
返して見てよあの顔。もっとけなしてやりなさい。貶としめてやりなさい。尊厳を踏みにじられる苦痛を教えてやるのよ。そうすることでしかあなたの苦痛は和らがないの。
これ恥ずかしい本。少女の時代に多少は占いの真似事に興味を持つこともあるけれど、これはちょっと行き過ぎじゃない？
Maybe.
やだ、魔法だってあんたあれでしょ。アニメとかのなんとかなんとかって呪文を言いながら魔女に変身するやつ。
Nothing wrong with that.
ああいうの好きなんでしょ。痛々しいわ。
Cackling, Kazumi opened to a random page and showed it to the black suits. The black suits looked too and guffawed. That laugh wouldn't wound me, but I couldn't forgive it. After all, that laughter was ridiculing Maria One-chan. I don't hate Kazumi. For exploiting Kazumi's unhealing anger and sadness, I cannot forgive the Black Witch. That Black Witch ate into Aunt Ava, Sumidera Kazumi, and Aunt Rosa, tormenting them for an eternity without letting their wounds be healed. I can't forgive her. I can't forgive the Black Witch.
何これ？傑作！お空から飴玉を降らせる魔法ですって？何々？お日様で清めたお水にお砂糖を溶いて魔法の杖を浸して呪文を。
He's gonna get a sticky wand.
痛い。
Cringe! You're cringe, Anjay! It's too late. I've already fucking drawn you as the soy jack and me the Chad. The black suits rolled around, guffawing. Then, grinning, the Black Witch whispered something into Kazumi's ear. Then, after glaring at me with a grin, Kazumi took that page. Rip! Kazumi grabbed hold of that page, tore it out, crumpled it up, and then threw it away.
ひどいよ。それはマリアの魔法。あら、そうなの？それはお気の毒。
It was one of the magics to summon happiness that Maria had made with Sakataro. Anyone knows that making sugar water, coloring her with paint, and leaving it by the window isn't going to make candy rain from the sky. But after repeating that every day, one time, when she got back from school, she found several pieces of candy scattered around that place. How happy must that miracle have made Maria One-chan? What good care she must have taken of those candies, savoring them during her nights all alone with Sakataro to distract herself from her loneliness. That magic which Maria One-chan had created was torn out, thrown away, and disappeared. An entire miracle of happiness created by that magic, she tore out and threw away.
これも傑作だわ。晩ご飯をクリームコロッケにする魔法。次は何？ピーマンが美味しく食べられる魔法。これもいか
I know bell peppers are like the Japanese equivalent to broccoli, but you know, I liked my veggies growing up. I don't have an issue with bell peppers. I guess it's like in the general like wider Japanese like zeitgeist social consciousness that bell peppers are icky and taste bitter, but they're fine. Stuffed bell peppers were great to me.
それも破いちゃいなさいよ。どんどん破いちゃえば。
What a cruel-hearted, loud laugh. The Black Witch made her tear out Maria One-chan's magics one after another. She sneered at those happy magics, ripped them out, and threw them away.
やめろ！やめろ！マリア教の魔法を汚すな！汚い毒素だ！ 怪我すんじゃない。
Mammon cried and yelled, but she had no way of reaching Kazumi.
いいじゃない、怪我されちゃえば。魔法の奇跡、幸せにする魔法。ないない、そんなのないってば。痛みと苦しみはね、他人に押し付けてしか癒せないのよ。あんたは確か魔法のお友達とかいうやつだったわよね。
You can just put it down. You can do that too. Just put it on the floor and walk away and just never come back to it.
スマデラかすみ、こいつのページを開きなさい。
これは何？魔法のお友達ですって？煉獄の七姉妹？物騒な名前。
Does it have a picture of the outfits?
すごい速さで飛んで敵をやっつけてくれるんですって。エンジェ、あなたこんな魔法が使えるなら
Look,
今
man.
すぐ使った方がいいんじゃ
It's
ない？
complicated.
くだらない。
Pages that wrote of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory were also heartlessly torn away. The pages themselves were just paper. They weren't Mamon's vessel or anything. Still. But the tearing, denying toxin, burned Mammon from the inside. Mammon's face twisted from the heat and pain.
大丈夫、マモン。しっかり。これくらい平気。私よりエンジ様の方が。
However, Mamon's expression was twisted in unbearable pain and humiliation.
やめろ、黒き魔女。どうして君はそんなことをするんだよ。
Yeah, because she sucks.
どうして魔法を幸せのために使えないんだよ。ああ、あんたも魔法のお友達ね。あんたも怪我してあげるわ。
No, Sakataro is already
スマ
like
デラかすみ、こいつのページも探し
super
な
dead,
さい。
so
こっちは何？何この下手くそなライオンの落書き。作太郎？変な名前。一番大好きなお友達だって。そうなの？これがあんたの友達？親友？
I mean, yeah, they're friends, but you know,
このライオンが？
this isn't Anje's diary.
本当に下手くそな落書き。こんなブサイクなライオンがあんたなのね。こんなのお友達にしてるなんて。後ろ宮マリアってこの頭のかわいそうさに呆れてへそでお茶が湧いちゃうわ。バカみた。へそ
I
か
mean,
んで
you're not wrong on that
死んじ
one.
ゃえば。うりゅ、マリアをバカにするな。やめて、破かないで。ダメ。
In sync. There was a shrill tearing sound, and the page was filthily ripped out. The picture of Sakataro that One-chan had drawn was violently ripped in half. Critical hit! No, Sakataro, no.
たくそな
お前たちも笑いなさい。
Yeah, getting paid, so laugh. Obeying the pair, the black suits laughed crudely and heartlessly trampled all over the paper that had been torn and thrown away.
サクタラ、しっかり。僕は悲しくなんかないよ。ただ悔しい。
A little frustrating, yeah.
マリアのことをバカにされて何も言えない自分が悔しい。私たちは見えない人間には
Correct.
いないも当然。 私たちは必要としてくれる人間としか氷だから。家具。
Mm-hmm. As Sakataro and Mammon supported each other, they slumped down, sobbing. Couldn't stand it either. Only those who can see the world of magic can understand how wonderful it is. It can't be explained to humans who cannot understand. And so it is mocked. If only you could show it. But you can't. Because, in front of humans who are filled with the anti-magic toxin and who can't understand magic, magic cannot be used.
本当にわけがわかんないわ。この妄想日記、頭がおかしいとしか思えない。あんたのお花畑の頭の中が垣間見えて本当に面白いわ。気持ち悪い子。
あんたもマリアもそこのぬいぐるみと家具もね。
I mean, yeah, they're a little creepy, but... Kids get weird hobbies. What can you do?
おかしいわ。あんた、友達いないんでしょ。
Not in
い
particular.
つも一人ぼっちで、ぬいぐるみがお友達なんでしょ。かわいそうな子。大丈夫。私にもわかるわよ。そういう生活。
Yeah, birds of a feather.
わかるの。だから私が認
So
め
I'll
て
let
あげ
bygones
る
be bygones, huh?
あんた、本当にかわいそうな子よ。
My heater just banged really loud and sounded like a door slamming, so I'm like, what the fuck? No, it's fine. So, to you, she looked like a pitiful child. Yes, I'm sure she does. If 100 people were to read On-chan's diary and grimoire, all 100 would probably get that same impression. I used to be one of them. But, you know, in spite of all that, On-chan still called this a world of happiness. Don't deny that magic, that happiness.
頑固な子ね、あんたは。いいわ。これで最後よ。あんたとマリアの信じた本当にくだらない魔法の根源を引き裂いてあげるわよ。スマデラかすみ、そのページを読みなさい。
なに？このカラフルなページは。なになに？大好きなママといつまでも仲良しでいられる魔法？
やめて！そのページだけは！
へえ、この魔法すんごく簡単じゃない？私でもすぐできそうだわ。こんなに短い呪文なら私にだって覚えられちゃう。やってみようかしら。
Sure.
本当に簡単な呪文よね。いいわよ。
Explain for the
やってあ
class.
げなさい。みんなも吹き出しちゃうから。
With expressions that ridiculed it from the bottoms of their hearts, the Black Witch and Kazumi puckered their lips in the most exaggerated way they could and said it aloud.
うん。
The black suit stared blankly, asking what that was supposed to be. Then Kazumi answered, cackling.
これがね、呪文なんだって。おかしい。
ほら、あんたたちもやってみれば。
The black suits imitated that moaning voice, making fun of it. Ooh, ooh. That was the incantation for the magic that would let her always be friends with the mama she loved.
なにこのバカみたいなの。う言うだけで家族仲が良くなるなら世界はずっと平和だわ。
Oh, poor Maria.
バカなうなり
And all it ever got her was more hits.
こんなの連呼してたら頭のかわいそうなこと思われるのがオチよ。バカじゃない
Damn, throwing out the hard R. Well, it's the 90s. Tracks.
やめろ。その魔法だけはけなさないで。
One day when when I can speak. One day when Murio Nechan and Aunt Rosa had gone on a picnic together, it was written that this was one of the 5 happiest days of her life, and One-chan was singing her mama a song that she had just learned from her. One-chan was happy to see that her mama was enjoying it very much, but partway through she forgot the lyrics. But her mama was enjoying it so much, she tried to sing until the very end, with ooh ooh ooh. She sung with fake lyrics, but her mama was very pleased. After that, ooh remained as an incantation to remember that day that she spent in fun and happiness with her mama. Of course, even though Aunt Rosa thought it funny at first, eventually she tired of hearing it, and later on started to scold One-chan whenever she said it. But to One-chan, it was a memory of a fun day that she could never forget. Among the magics that Maria created, it was the oldest and the first. Kazumi stuck her fingernails into that page too.
やめて、破かないで。そのページだけは許して。
Nope.
ダメ。
With a shrill sound, the girl's world of happiness was erased.
うーうーうーこれがあんたらの幸せな魔法なわけ。
You know, it's the little things in life.
笑っちゃう。幸せになる魔法なんてね、あるわけないでしょ。魔法はね、怒りとね、憎しみでできてるのよ。幸せってのはね、自分の背負わされた憎悪を人に全て押し付けた時にのみ与えられる解放感を言うのよ。あんたたちの言う幸せなんて絵本の中にしか出てこないまやかしなのよ。
As Kazumi laughed her head off, she slammed the grimoire against the ground and stepped on it.
悔しい？ねえ、悔しい？幸せの白き魔女さんたち、そんなに悔しかったら見せてみれば？あんたたちの魔法あるなら使ってみせればいいじゃない。
Yeah, come on out.
魔法が使えない魔女なんて魔女じゃない。つまり本当の魔女は私たち。あんたたちなんて魔法の夢で現実から逃避しているだけのクソガキどもなのよ。
じゃあ、魔法を私が見せることができたなら、お姉ちゃんの魔法を信じてくれるの？
No.
信じるわよ。魔法を使って見せることができたならね。ならやってみろよ、このクソボケガキ。
Silently, slowly, I stood up. The sensations of the small world, such as the pain in my body, felt truly insignificant.
あら、まだ立てる元気はあったのね、大魔女さん。立ち上がって何をしてみせるの？見せてみなさいよ、魔法。
魔法はあるわ。
はあ、
Okay.
この子何を言い出すかと思えば、あんたたち今の聞いた？静かに。へえ、
Yeah,
面白
she's
いじゃ
doing
ない。
something.
半魔法の毒素を理由にあんたたちはいつも奇跡の力を拒んできた白き魔女マリアの弟子。見せてみなさいよ、魔法。
And she's like, watch this. And proceeds to like pull off the top of her index finger with her other hand. And like, ooh, my finger just came off. Ooh, look at that. And put it back. Bah, wow. Magic.
一体どれだけの人間がその奇跡を信じて裏切られていったか知っている？誰もが信じ、誰もが裏切られて絶望した。そして
I think she's
本
gonna
当
fall
の
in
魔
your
法
lap.
は私たち黒き魔女の力でしか得られないことを知るのよ。
憎しみを誰かにぶつけるのはただの罪。そんなのは魔法じゃないわ。本当の魔
It's a real
法
simple
を
thing.
私が見せてやる。
こいつ
The Black Witch winced slightly. What did I say? Winced? However, Kazumi sneered at me even more.
なら見せてごらんなさいよ。それであんたはどの魔法を見せてくれるの？飴玉を降らせる魔法？それともクッキーを増やす魔法？
Oh, you're making me hungry. I haven't ate yet. The instant I opened my eyes, a tremendous wind arose.
何？突然。
さあさあ、おいでなさい。
You're just gonna fucking ninja star throw Mammoth's steak right in her face? There was a flash behind me, and in an instant, 7 high-level furniture were gathered there. It was a power that far surpassed the magical power I had in my prime. It was a power that matched even Rio Nechan and Beatrice.
煉獄の七姉妹、ここに。
エンジ様。
あなたはかつて言ったわ。私に魔力とその覚悟がないからあなたたちを刺激できなかったのだと。私をいじめるクラスメートに仕返しがしたいなんて、そんな安っぽい感情じゃない。私はマリアお姉ちゃんの、マリアージュ・ソルシエールの世界を守るために
Gonna have to go all out, just this once.
今こそ魔法の奇跡を見せることを命令するわ。
無理です。いくらなんでもこれだけ大勢の毒素の前では。
Yeah, you're gonna have to be real cringe here, Anjay. Lean into it, embrace it. Seven Sisters also remembered what happened once, also remembered what had once happened in that classroom. They could have obeyed Anjay's order, they would have. However, surrounded by the toxin that runs thick in humans, they hadn't been able to display that the miracle of magic. And they remembered very well how deeply that had hurt Anjay. But Anjay spoke very quietly.
あなたたちも信じて。マリアージュ・ソルシエールは人を幸せにするために生まれた。そしてそれは黒き魔女と戦うためでもあった。その創立者の一人、原初の魔女マリア教が生み出した世界を否定するその奇跡を見せ、その世界を守るために信じて、魔法を魔女を今こそ奇跡を。
Embrace the Kool-Aid. Kazumi gave an order to the black suits, and one of them took out a gun and pointed it at Anjay.
魔法を見せてくれるんでしょ？なら見せてちょうだい。魔法で火の玉でも稲妻でも打ち出してこの男を倒してみせなさいよ。チャンスは一度、3つ数えるうちにやってお見せなさい。できなければ覚悟してもらうわよ。
Alright, sure.
打ちなさいよ。
なんだこのガキ。イカれてやがるぜ。
Almost like she has a concussion or something. The black suit, pointing the gun, laughed at Anjay's composure.
本気？こいつ頭の中までお花が咲いてやがる。なら撃たれなさいよ。死んじゃえば。エンジェ、無理。中断は魔法では防げないよ。
Never say never.
いいえ、何も恐れることはないわ。私の魔法は、煉獄の七姉妹は銃弾などものともしない。
Okay.
エンジ様。
It's cool that you believe, but do you have an actual plan? Evan was flustered by Anjay's absolute trust. She would have loved to live up to that trust, if only she could. On that day as well. But she had been unable to do anything, and she had hurt Anjay.
ガキめ、魔法が使えるってんなら早く見せてみやがるってんだ。どうしたよ。早く魔法を見せてみろってんだ。ほら、遠慮はいらねえぜ。俺にパピョーンと
Shazam!
魔法ってやつをお見舞いしてくれよ。
Black suits jeered at her, but Anjay simply concentrated her mind in silence.
撃っちゃえば。撃ってみろって言ってるのよ、向こうは。
この子恐怖でもう
No,
頭がどうか
she's
して
fully
る
in
ん
the
だ
I
わ
have the power of God and anime on my side right
バイ
now.
バイエンジェちゃん。
天国で好きなだけ魔女ごっこをしてなさい。撃て。
いいんですか？
おうち死ね。エンジェ、やれるもんならやってみなさいよ、あんたの魔法を。
Yep, time for a henshin! The black suit cocked the gun, and sneering, he pulled the trigger. A gunshot rang out, and the world stopped. Red spray scattered, and chunks of flesh flew.
何をしてるのマモン。銃弾ごとき無粋な石ころをエンジェ様に許すつもり？
Lucifer had lined up the bullet perfectly, and with a single swing, had sliced it in two. And in the chest of the black suit, who had apparently fired the gun, there was a hole as big as a fist.
たまには私が一番乗りでもいいわよね。
Half of the Leviathan's body was covered with blood as she wore a cold smile. Then, slowly, the pitiful bray she had brought down fell over.
貫いた人間を。
バカね。
Hey, ain't that their job?
まだあんた信じてないの？私たちの主の魔力。
これだけの人間の前で権限したっていうの？
何を何？
That mean the rest were thrown into confusion. He certainly seemed to have fired the gun. However, it hadn't hit Anjay. And why was the person who fired instead?
これが魔法。見事よ、レビアタン。
光栄の至り。我らが主に逆らう愚かなる人間どもよ、今こそ冷やせ審判の時。
どうして
I mean, it's either that or Amakusa's off on another cliff.
人間の世界に魔法は持ち込めないはず
You
な
know,
の
with
に
his golf bag.
魔法は見えないはずなのに触れられないはずなのにどうして。
これが本当の魔法だからよ。
何をしてるのよお前たち。殺せ殺せ。
One of the black suits who had finally come to his senses pulled his gun, aimed.
我らが主に銃口を覗かせる無礼を。わ、死ね。
Those words were his funeral. The man had already been struck through the chest by Lucifer, who had become the stake of pride in an instant. Thump. The sound of a second person falling brought it home to the black suits that their lives were unmistakably in peril. Almost paralyzed with fright, the man turned on his heels in an attempt to escape from that place, and in that instant, the stake of sloth.
我が主への狼藉に対する報い。これ式で済んだことに感謝せよ。死ね。
A hole as big as a walnut opened in his right eye, his head split open. Beltagora was sprayed with blood, and her face twisted demonically with the joy of being able to use her full power.
誰だ？誰がいるんだ？どこにいやがる？
The black suits panicked, pointing their guns in every direction. They didn't understand what was happening. They only knew that something terrifying was coming for them from somewhere. They didn't know where.
バカ。敵はあんたたちのすぐ目の前にいるわよ。魔女の家具があんたたちを狙ってる。
But they could not see. Because they could not believe in magic, they could not see. Just as the Black Witch said, Satan was standing boldly right in front of the black suit. However, the black suit couldn't see that at all.
人間に私たちの姿が見えるとでも捉えられるとでも間抜けな人間が魔法に対する畏怖を忘れたる。愚かの代償を払うがいい。
何よこれ。何が起こってるの？
あなたには見えない愛がないから。
ありえない。これだけの人間がいて
半魔法の毒素をばらまいてるってのに。あんた何者なの？
魔女よ。あんたと違って本物の。
うわー、畜生！トローマ
As though announcing her candidacy, as announcing her candidacy, candidacy for the fourth victim, one of the black suits pointed his gun at Anjay and pulled the. Anjay glared at him coldly and simply ordered.
死にさらせ！
次、サタン。
軍でのサタン、すでにここに。ならばが今のエンジェ様と私たちに銃弾ごときが当たると思うか。
I bit my tongue. The stake of wrath pierced and smashed the bullet fired by the black suit and continued straight on towards the man's
己
face.
が愚かさをし、地獄で後悔せよ。死ね！
With a terrible explosive sound, the upper half of the man's head was smashed. Bathed in scattered flesh and blood, Anjay quietly asked one more time.
ねえ、かすみおばさん。まだ魔法信じる気にならないの？
こんなバカなことあるわけないでしょ。
Yeah, Broken Dream was pretty wild, huh?
認めないわ。魔法なんてあるわけがない。そうよ。魔法なんてあるわけがない。魔女なんているわけがない。
Says the witch.
魔法はあるよ。魔女はいる
Well,
よ。
fake witch, but
そうよ。魔法はあるのよ。魔女はいるのよ。そしてこの怒りと悲しみで満ちた世界に幸せの世界への扉を開く鍵にできるの。あんたなんかにそれを否定させない。幸せな世界への鍵はみんなの手に握られてるんだ。それを奪う資格は誰にもないんだ。
それを理解できぬ哀れな人間よ。そなたの人生に魔法の力があったならもっと違った穏やかなものになっていただろう。そなたがその生涯において本当の魔女と出会えなかったことを私は哀れむ。
Kazumi let out a piercing scream. At the same time, the two remaining black suits came for me at once and thrust their guns against my head. Like they were trying to use me as a hostage against something their eyes couldn't see. Against the Seven Sisters of Purgatory, high-level furniture who had now reached the level of weapons, this was completely, totally pointless.
畜生、どこにいやがるんだ。攻撃をやめねえとこの天の命はねえぞ。姿を現しやがれ。
何言ってんのこいつ。美味しそうな腹渡をしてるくせに。エンジ様、次は私にお任せを。
Sure, have fun.
許す。
ありがたき幸せ。死ね
The man's chest split and his guts poured out. This terrible way of dying threw the other man into a total panic. However, Asmodeus's form was already at his back, embracing his neck with her arm and smiling obscenely.
かわいい子。ねえねえ、どこを貫いてほしい？
Will you at least spit on it first?
エンジ様、ご希望はございますか？
頭。
かしこまりました。我が主、死ね。
The final black suit had his head smashed by the stake of lust, and his insides scattered, he twisted and fell. In that gruesome world where 6 people lay in a sea of blood, witch and human confronted each
妻
other.
寺かすみ、そなたの哀れなる人生に私その埋めえぬ心の穴を塞げる魔法を授けてもよい。そなたがその魔法を信じるなら
バカなこと。こんなの私は認めない。
Alright, you do you then. Kazumi slowly retreated backwards, scared out of her wits. There's a cliff right there. She picked up a handgun that someone had dropped. Then, shaking, she pointed it at Anjay.
そうよかすみ、その銃で撃ちなさい。あんたの憎しみを銃弾に変えて放ちなさい。殺してやる、殺してやる。あんたを殺さなきゃ私の人生は報われないのよ。そうよ、殺して、引き金を引いて、あいつにあんたのみすぼらしい今日までの全ての怒りを全部叩きつけてやるの。そうでなきゃあんたは痛みと苦しみから解放されないのよ。
That's not really gonna do anything.
やめて、かすみおばさん。黒き魔女に耳を貸しては。
殺してやる、殺してやる。あんたの母親のせいで私の人生はめちゃくちゃ。
なら私の魔法でその人生をこれから少しずつ明るく穏やかなものにできるかもしれない。あなたが魔法を信じ心を入れ替えさえすれば、あなたに新しい世界への扉を開いてあげられるの。
No, just forget about these 6 dead
そんなものは
bodies
ない
and,
わ。
you know.
あいつの言う救いなんてどうせおとぎ話の中だけよ。あんたの人生はもはや死ぬまでトゲまみれ。その苦痛の叫びをあいつに聞かせてやりなさい。失ったものは何も取り返せないのよ。そうでしょ、スマデラカスミ。
そうね、何も取り返せないかもしれない。
Yeah, but, you know, continuing like this ain't gonna get you anything
で
either.
もきっと新しく何かを生み出すことができる。だからかすみおばさん、その銃を捨ててかすみおばさんにも幸せな世界を教えてあげられるかもしれない。
私はね、あんたの母親が逃げたせいで、あんたの母親のいい名付けと身代わりに
Oh, the
結
horror.
婚させられたのよ。将来を誓い合った男がいたのよ。別れさせられたのよ。あんたの母親の代わりと継がされて、話もろくにしたことがない男とちぎりを交わさせられた私の気持ちが分かるっての。殺してやりたかった。なのに姉さんは勝手に死んだ。
Yep, gotta settle for second best.
だからあんたを殺すの。そうでなきゃ私のトゲまみれの人生は終わらないのよ。
From Kazumi's eyes, frenzied tears dripped down. This poor woman. Even she had such clear and beautiful tears. But for that very reason, she hadn't been able to withstand her sad pain, and had had no choice but to listen to the Black Witch's temptation.
かわいそうに。ならばせめてあなたを、あなたの魂を永遠に解放し、それが今の私にできる唯一の施しかもしれない。
死ねー、後ろ宮エンジェ
Ping pong.
さようなら、かすみおばさん。静かな世界でゆっくりと休んで。
I no longer feel any anger or hatred towards you. I just want to let your soul rest in peace. Kazumi's handgun spat fire. Slowly, that bullet continued through a world frozen to the utmost limit, making its way towards Anjay's forehead.
マモン、
強欲のマモン、ここに。
ありがとう。あなたたちと作太郎に出会えたから私は全てを理解できた。
エンジェ。
作太郎は後ろを向いていなさい。マモン、その女を解放してあげて、そしてマリアージュ・ソルシエルの名誉を守れ。
Yeah, this might be a little violent for you,
覚悟
Sakutaro.
せよスマデラカスミ。
Even though the world was frozen, the stake of greed flashed like lightning. It was already through Kazumi and out the other
貴
side.
様に多少の得があるならば、再び煉獄の山で相まみえようぞ。死ねー。
The upper half of Sumadera Kazumi's head scattered. Her cage of flesh was broken, and she was finally released. And she dropped all the metal bars she was carrying.
あとは
She had to go fix the plumbing after this. But now, all those copper pipes are just rolling down the hill.
黒き魔女、今となってはあなたにエヴァおばさんの面影を見ていることさえ彼女に申し訳なく思うわ。
私の姿が未だに後ろ宮エヴァに見えているなら、それはあんたの中で未だに私が許せてないということだわ。
I mean, she probably never can fully do that.
分かっているのよ、エンジェ。あんただってトゲまみれの人生から解放されたくて仕方がないの。なら面白いことを思いついたわ。私もあんたに魔法を見せてあげる。あんたを殺すのは私じゃないわ。
With the worst smile on her face, the black witch changed her form into something like a black mist, or else a vast swarm of black flying insects, which began to swirl around me. Then the black mist began to amass bit by bit, shaping itself into the form of a
なんでも
human.
ね。
うすうすは想像がついてるくせに、あんたが最も憎み恨んだあの女よ。そして女もあなたを最も恨み。
What, just regular Ava? Alright. When the black mist cleared, oh, there was Aunt Ava's form, as she had been while alive. In her hands, she was holding a gun.
エヴァおばさんは
Yep.
お久しぶりね。
Damn, is Andre just like really tall, or is Ava actually pretty short?
あんたを殺すために地獄から戻
Or
っ
is
て
it
き
just a
たわ
perspective
よ。
thing? Aunt Ava glared at me, laughing madly.
でもあまり驚かないわ。エヴァおばさんそういう人だったし。
私のお葬式はさぞや気分が晴れ晴れしたでしょ。私も晴れ晴れしていたわよ。あんたの面を二度と見なくて済むようになるんだからね。でもたった一つだけ心残りがあったわ。
And what was that?
それがこれよ。
私を殺すこと、それが最後の遺言だったの。
How pitiful. Even after death, Aunt wasn't. I mean, I guess you can just call someone Aunt, but it's a little odd to do that. Usually, it's more like a prefix. Like calling just someone Uncle is, you know, that tracks a little more. But just calling someone Aunt, okay, Aunt wasn't able to release her suffering.
黒き魔女の
Depending
力
on
こそ
how you want to say it.
私の魔法の源泉だったわ。
But there's you in there after all.
怒りと憎しみが私に努力と不屈を教えてくれ
But
た。
then again, who am I to judge people
それはあ
for,
ん
you
た
know,
の言う
completely mispronouncing
現実
words
逃避の
with
魔法とは
clear
全く違
fucking
うの。
syllables and vowels in there.
あんたの
Like, what do
言
you
う魔
call
法
a
なん
Crayola?
て
You know, something you
ただの
color
八つ当
with
た
in
り
a
に
book,
よる
you
ス
know,
トレス
that
解
you
消
get
だ
at
わ。
like Applebee's or whatever in a little pack of 3. Nah, man, those are crayons.
私たちの魔法は違う。
Don't question me on it, they just are.
世界そのものを作り変えるの。あんたの性悪魔法とは全く格が違う。
なら黒と白のどちらが勝つかこの場で決着をつけてあげる。死してなお黒き魔法で復活してあんたをこうして重厚で狙える私の奇跡に、あんたの白き魔法はどんな奇跡で対抗を？
No, probably the white magic.
半魔法の毒素であなたを取り込んだわ。七姉妹はもう二度と呼べないわよ。
You may not have played Final Fantasy 1 there, Ava, but a team of 4 black mage, I mean, not a team of 4 black mages, a team of 4 white mages can absolutely fuck shit up.
さっきの奇跡はもう起こらない。
それでも怒るから
Just
魔法っ
absolute
て言う
hammer
んだよ。
time. Just fucking crush everything.
いいわよ。マモン、私に力を貸して。
Takes a little bit. But Mama didn't respond. She didn't appear. Certainly, as she said, the anti-magic toxin had burned everything up like a wasteland parched by a blazing sun. This might be a little tough.
呼びかけても無駄よ。もう二度と煉獄の七姉妹は答えない。
だからそれでも呼べるから魔法なのよね。
哀れね、エンジェル。さよなら。あんたとのささやかな日々はそこそこに楽しかったわ。これでお別れよ。よかったわね。あんたの終着駅がここ。
I mean, it's a nice little spot, a little hill overlooking the ocean.
ええ、全くよ。気が利くわね。
ありがとう。それじゃ終わっ
Sorry, Ava, I cut you off. The barrel of the gun slowly rose so that you could see all the way down it, and the trigger was slowly. Then, there was a loud bang from the gun. Not in the sense that it fired, it exploded. You're kidding me. In shock, inside frozen space, Ava looked at the exploded gun. When time unfroze, the fragments would probably smash into her face all at once.
強欲のまま
It's like, oh damn, this is the fucking hot ammo that, you know, airdropped into like the Ho Chi Minh Trail that the Viet Cong got. You know, Kinzo bought some shitty surplus from suspicious sources, and this is what we get.
ここにバック
Behind Ava's back, Maman stood. She had already penetrated the target I had given her, which was the gun.
これで魔法は十分、エヴァおばさん。
エンジェ
You too. Then, time unfroze. Fragments of the ruptured gun and gunpowder gas burned her face. Letting out a shrill scream, she rolled around, covering her face. It was pitiful.
運がなかったわね。これでゲームオーバー
Yep.
よ。エヴァおばさん。
I signaled to Maman to free Ava quickly from her pain as she writhed around with
あ
her
りが
burnt
とう、
face.
マモン。あの日の教室で、あなたたちの無力を罵ったことを、今こそ、心の底より、そして再び謝るわ。あなたたちは、魔女を守るための優秀な家具だった。
こちらこそ感謝します。良き魔女に、良き主に最後に出会え、家具の本分を尽くせたことを心より光栄に思います。
Maman understood. This would be the final job I would ever give her. Maman quietly walked close. Then, she looked down upon her.
エヴァおばさん、今日まで付き合ってくれてありがとう。これでお別れよ。Have a nice dream. See you hell.
Yeah, pretty cool. Then, the light sound of her forehead being perforated rang out. One of those words you don't see very often. The battle of gunpowder smoke, delirium, and white and black magic was over. Felt like it had been a long, truly long journey. And the world slowly sank into darkness. The stars that should be sparkling lay not in the sky, but were scattered beneath me. When I realized that the pearls and rubies were creating a river of white and red, I realized that it was a vast nighttime scene that was spread out below me. I was in the sky of that nighttime scene, neither standing nor flying, but simply floating in the air. From nowhere in particular, I could hear the sound of one person clapping. Truly dull applause. I understood. It was the one who ordered me to go on this journey, Bernkastel.
おめでとう、無限の魔女エンジェ・ベアトリーチェ。あなたは旅路の末に魔法のすべてを理解したわ。
Mm-hmm.
ええ、私は今や魔法のすべてを理解した。私は魔女よ。マリアージュ・ソルシエルが生み出した魔法世界を継承した。
あなたにしかベアトリーチェの世界を切り裂けない。
魔法を知るからこそ
Yep, so get in there and fucking
それに抵抗を
bust out those
覚える
answer arcs for us.
魔法は愛と悲しみと怒りでできている。ベアトリーチェがどんなに残酷な魔女であったとしても、その魔法の源泉は全く同じ。だからこそ彼女のその世界を本当はそっとしてあげたい。少なくとも彼女にとってその世界は完成しているのだから。
あなたが
Yeah, but time to, you know, lift up the rug and see what little dust and dirt got brushed under there.
そうだから申し訳ないけれど、私は戦わなければならない。家族を取り戻せるかもしれないわずかの確率にかけて魔女となる旅に出たのだから。
ベアトリーチェを殺さない限り、あなたには孤独な世界しか存在しない。それを100億のかけらを旅した私が保証する。
I'll take your word for it.
分かってるわ。同情してる余地なんて私にはないのよ。心を鬼にして彼女の心を切り裂かなくてはならない。
その気持ちが揺るぎないならよかったわ。同じ魔女同士情が移って志をくじくんじゃないかと心配したわ。
You're doing her a service. Coming from a person like her, whose face was almost always expressionless, those words felt a bit hollow. Ern-Castell, the enigmatic witch who invited me on this journey.
私あなたが嘘をついてたんじゃないかと疑ってたことがあったわ。
どうして？
私は1998年の演者だから、家族を救ってもそれは1986年の演者が救われるだけ。この私が救われるわけじゃない。だから騙され
Well,
ている
it
と思
might
って
help
いた
you
ことがある
get
の。
some closure.
その通り、私はあなたを騙したわ。
Little lie of admission.
今は感謝してる。だってあなたは私に家族の取り戻し方を結局。
私は何も教えてないわ。それを知ったのだとしたら、それはあなたが魔女として自ら至った境地だわ。それは私のそれとは違う境地。私に理解はできないけれど、もしもそうならば
Good job.
私はこのゲームのプレイヤーではなく駒だとあなたは私に言ったわよね。
え、
Yeah, we're playing like 5-dimensional chess right now, so
その役割
you can
を
move in some weird ways.
今こそ完全に理解した。駒に感情はいらない。ただ勝利のために最善を尽くせばいい。
ええ、その通り。ゲームは最善手を差し合うものでしょう。躊躇や戸惑いで指し手をおかしくしてたら対戦相手も混乱するわ。
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Beatrice, but don't hold it against me. Ushurmia Anje still needs her family. So I have the right to fight you so that I can take them back. And you have the responsibility to accept my challenge. So please, don't hold it against me. In exchange, if you do win this game, I'll give you my blessing as well. Now let's go. As a piece I am, it's finally time for my true turn. Sorry, Beatrice. I can't hand Onichan over to you. The world whitened. It wasn't white. It was the blindingly bright color of gold. And that place was the beautiful Ushurmia family rose garden. However, the roses were all gold. The nectar was also golden. The butterflies gathering there were also gold as well. Little double positive there, but ignoring that I said that wasn't there, that I made up on my own. This is the Golden Land. The promised land that the witches of the Mirage Sorcière would ultimately be guided to. There, all wishes come true, and all magic and dreams come into being. In that garden of gold roses were two, and only two, witches. At my uninvited appearance, the atmosphere trembled with unrest. What was to them an ominous wind shook the garden roses. An incredibly beautiful scene formed by the gold rose petals scattered in the wind. was, without a doubt, something not of this world. The two who had been taking a walk through the golden roses noticed me and reacted in surprise.
エンジェベアとエンジェだ。
どうやってここへ引き取られよ。
Fucking bust down the door.
わらわはもはやここへは誰も招かぬのだ。
Bieto spoke coldly. She seemed like a completely different person from the boldly sneering woman she had once been. She had closed off her heart and shut herself up in a world where she was alone with Mirio-ne-chan. A world where she could always be alone with friendly Mirio-ne-chan, conversing about magic while drinking tea. No one to hurry them, and nothing to hold them back. A world where not a single person who might hurt them existed. Yes, to the two of them, that was a small and complete universe.
悪いわね、あんたにここに引きこもられちゃ困るのよ。私たちはあんたが戻ってこなきゃゲームが進まないの。
わらわは飽きたからやめたと言った。もうゲームには戻らない。
ベアとはね、ずっとここでマリアと一緒にいるの。ここで一緒にお茶を飲んでね、いろいろな遊びを考えるの。エンジェも一緒に遊んでいい
Same
ん
as
だ
doing
よ。
nothing.
マリア、それはならぬと言ったはず。わらわにはそなただけがいればよい。だからそなた、わらわだけがいればよいと言ってお
うん、ありがとう。マリアをそこまで必要としてくれる人はベアトだけだよ。ならベアトと一緒にいる二人きりでいい。
You're being such a sad sack, Beatrice.
ありがとう。
Bieto held Maria tight, even creating a small, warm universe within their joined arms. It's probably the birth of the smallest universe in the world. The smallest universe in the world, with a pair of two who needed each other could create. No matter how small it was, that world was complete. But I have to tear it apart.
悪いけどそういうわけにはいかないの。私はこのマリアージュ・ソルシエルの黄金鏡をぶっ壊しにやってきたわ。
なぜわらわの世界を壊すのか。この世界でわらわとマリア以外の誰に迷惑をかけたというのか。
Anjay.
あんたが始めて終わらせずにほったらかしたゲームでお兄ちゃんがずっと待たされてる。あんたが席に戻らなくちゃ勝負は永遠に終わらないのよ。
Hey, you may not think you're bothering no one, but this is an issue for quite a number of people.
あのゲームにもはやプレイヤーは一人もおらぬわ。バトラは消え去り、わらわもまた消え去り、ここにいるあのゲームはもはや終わったのだ。
終わってない。あんたの始めたゲームでしょ。
Yeah, this is just escapism, Beatrice. Can't you see it's not
最
healthy?
後まできっちり責任を持って終わらせなさい。
Or whatever the Final Fantasy Tactics line is.
バトラーを打ち負かし、あなたが本当に望んだ世界を生み出すか、あなたが打ち負かされ、あなたの魔法に飲み込まれた全てを解放するか。
Yeah, don't get cold feet
しっ
now.
かり最後まで責任を取りなさい。
ダメだよ。エンジェ、ベアトはこの世界でマリアと永遠に二人きりで過ごすの。マリアもベアトさえいれば他には
You're
何もいら
coddling
な
a
い
little
の。
too much, Maria.
ここでは全ての願いが叶う。全てがある。
This golden land is made up of nothing more than the crystallization of Mirio-ne-chan and Beatrice's thoughts and feelings. To drag Bieto out of this world, I have to destroy it. Destroy this golden land, which must be the final world of peace for Beatrice.
お姉ちゃん、それは違う。この黄金鏡は嘘つきだわ。お姉ちゃんの本当に叶えたい願いを叶えてくれていない。
そんなことないよ。ここでは何でも叶うの。
Oh yeah? Then where's your nice
見
mama?
て、ここには優しい
Oh,
マ
okay,
マ
there
が
she
い
is.
る。
Gold butterflies gathered behind Maria, forming into a kindly smiling Aunt Rosa. And after smiling sweetly at me, she softly became gold petals and crumbled. Alright, bye!
ここでは何だって生み出せるの。エンジだって生み出せるよ。バトラだって、ジョージお兄ちゃんだって、ジェシカお姉ちゃんだって。いくらでも呼び出せるよ。みんな優しくしてくれるよ。 エンジェもおいでよ。一緒に遊ぼう。
Sorry, Une-chan.
作太郎は
Well, upon hearing Sakataro's name, Une-chan's face looked like she was choking.
よせ、そんなを口にするな。
Ito's expression changed as well, and she put her arm around Maria, hugging her as if to protect her. Sakataro's name was still taboo for Une-chan.
どうして口にしちゃいけないの？
Yeah, why? I got him right here. I picked another one up at the store.
マリアお姉ちゃんの一番の親友の名前を。
Revived him with magic.
どうしてその親友をこの素敵な黄
Little
金
little
鏡
white
に
lie
招
for
い
the
てあげ
happiness
ない
of
の
a child.
どうしてこの何でも願いの叶う黄金鏡では作太郎だけ呼び出すことができないの？
それは良いのだぞ、マリア。作太郎の
Yeah,
こ
just
とを
don't
思い
think
出
too
さ
hard
なく
about
て
it.
も。
作太郎はママに殺されたんだよ。
Une-chan flew into a rage with a terrible expression on her face. Surprised by that voice, butterflies flew up throughout the garden, blowing around like a typhoon of flower petals.
ええ、知ってるわ。ローザおばさんが大切な作太郎のぬいぐるみを
Ripped his head out.
引き裂
Fucking
いた
spilled
わ。
his guts. Maria's scream became a storm and violently scattered the golden petals and leaves. It was truly a storm of gold.
やめよ、やめよ、やめよ、やめよ。なぜマリアの心の傷を再び引き裂こうとするのか。わらわとマリアの大切な親友の眠りを汚すな。
ならどうして
Mhm.
その大切な親友をあなたの魔法で蘇らせてあげないの？
それができるものならやっている。しかし
Yeah, but you suck at sewing.
あのぬいぐるみはローザによる手作りの品。
Except he wasn't.
そのたった一つが引き裂かれた魔法的意味は。
ごまかさないで。どうして作太郎が蘇らせられないか。答えは一つだわ。あなたが本当の魔女じゃないからよ。
蘇らせられるとも。わらわの魔法でいくらでもこうして蘇らせられるとも。
You're talking a big game here, Beatrice.
作太郎でこの庭園を埋めることだってできようぞ。
Yeah, but that's a fake Sakataro. She's just gonna blow away.
ええ、できるでしょうね。あなたの魔
Your
法で
fake
は。
magic.
でもあなたの生み出した作太郎は決してお姉ちゃんには見えない。どうしてか分かってるでしょ。もう一度言うわ。あなたが本当の魔女でないからなの
Yeah,
よ。
that's what I've been saying all along.
やめて。どうしてエンジェはそんなひどいことばかり言うの？ベアとはたくさん魔法が使えるよ。とても素敵な魔女なんだよ。作太郎だけは蘇らせられなかったけど、他だから作太郎だけは我慢できるの。
ううんお姉ちゃん、それは違うわ。魔女にできないことなんてないの。
Mm-hmm. That's the whole point.
それができない時点で
No longer a witch.
ベアトリーチェは本当の魔女じゃないわ。
それは違うよ。作太郎のよりしろのぬいぐるみ
There's
は
something
マ
close.
マの手作りの特別なものだから。
Also false.
だから蘇らせられないの？ベアトリーチェのあなたの魔法はそんなにも不便なの？
な
Yeah,
らば
watch this.
そなたなら作太郎を蘇らせられるというのか。そなたの魔法ならばそれができるというのか。
できるわ。
なんだと。
マリアお姉ちゃん、私が本当の魔法を見せてあげるわ。私が作太郎を
Yep,
蘇らせてあげる。
Pull him out of my bag like taking a rabbit from a hat.
本当？ベアトリーチェもできなかったんだよ。
Yeah, but that's because Beatrice never left the house. She never went to the store and just saw the aisles of Sakataros there.
ええ、できるわ。その代わり約束して、私が作太郎を蘇らせてあげたなら、この黄金鏡から出て行きなさい。
そんなことは許さぬ。
Yeah, we're not talking to you right
こ
now.
こはわらわとマリアの世界。マリアがいなくなったら壊れてしまう。
Yep. The minimum amount of humans it takes to create a universe is 2. If that breaks down, the world is destroyed. Drag out the witch who shut herself away in the Golden Land to destroy this world.
そう。それこそがあなたが魔女でない証拠よ。本当の魔女なのね。宇宙は一人で生み出せるのよ。マリアージュ・ソルシエル魔女同盟。この同盟の存在自体が、あなたが魔女でないことの証になっている。
嫌だ。マリアは渡さぬ。そなたは嫌いだ。今すぐに帰れ。
Alright, make her.
ここから出ていけ。
勝手にみんなをゲームに引きずり込んでおいて、自分は機嫌一つで飽きたり追い出したり、なんて自分勝手なの。
Very.
見なさい、ベアトリーチェ。そしてマリアお姉ちゃん。これが本当の魔法なのよ。
本当にサク太郎を蘇らせられるの？
できるわけがない。
Yeah, just let me take the tags off
ここ
first
はわらわとマリアの2人だけの黄金
and
鏡。
get rid of the receipt.
部外者のそなたに使える魔法など一つもない。今のそなたには超一匹生み出すことさえ叶わぬわ。
静かにして。エンジェを邪魔
Yeah,
しないで。
she's doing something. Just hiding in the bushes? When Maria yelled, the storm abruptly stopped and the area returned to silence. As the massive amount of gold petals that had been blown upwards quietly drifted down, the scene looked so fantastical as though golden snow was falling. Maria thinking about this unlikely if only miracle. Oh, what is that sentence? Unconsciously joined her hands together as though praying. Sure, I don't like comma into hyphen into other comma. The cadence of that is all whack. Beato's heart raced as she watched Maria do this. If the extremely unlikely were to happen, this world would. But it's inconceivable. An absolute impossibility. That stuffed animal, the only one of its kind in the world, was torn apart and thrown away. Not a thread remained. Reviving is absolutely, certainly impossible. This is my golden land. A world where magic that isn't mine certainly cannot exist.
できるものならやってみろ。後ろ見やエンジ。
At Beato's scream, the world lost its sound. Ooh, blue roses. Those are cool. I like them. They're on my family crest. Because I came from some old money. Don't ask too much questions about it. Shh. It's all gone anyway. I slowly recited the incantation for true magic.
さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。マリアの親友のサク太郎。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんなに愛くるしいぬいぐるみだったのか。
Expressions of shock rose to both their faces. Then, pushing Beato's elbow aside, Maria dashed forward. Then, she threw her arms around him and me both.
大丈夫。サク太郎は消えないよ。
ウリュウ、マリア、ただいま。サク太郎、サク太郎。サク太郎。
Yep, promise is a promise. Let's fucking get out of here.
会いたかった。
It was, unmistakably, that lion, that Sakataro's stuffed animal. Maria had forgotten its softness, its texture, its stitches, its everything. But, the instant she hugged the stuffed animal, everything came back to her vividly.
ウリュウ、マリア、ただいま。 サクタロ
Just don't ask why he doesn't have a scarf.
体は平気なの？どこも痛くない？あんなにひどいことされたのにどこも平気なの？無理よ。レンジェが魔法で蘇らせてくれたから全然平気なの。
Yeah, for the sake of explanation, you know, that was an extra item added on later, so it didn't come, you know, it didn't come with reviving him.
よかった、よかった。おかえり、サクタロ。もうマリアといつまでも一緒だよ。永遠に一緒だよ。だから僕を離さないでね。離さないよ、永遠に。
Then, still hugging Sakataro, she looked up at me with tear-filled eyes.
ありがとう、エンジェ。エンジェの魔法はすごい。どうしてサクタロを蘇らせることができたの？ベアトにもできなかったのに。
ありえぬ、ありえぬ。どうしてわらわの黄金鏡でわらわ以外の人間が魔法を使えるのか。こんなことは断じてありえぬ。
何をうろたえているのよ、
Yeah.
ベアトリ
What,
ー
it's
チェ。
real magic.
これが魔法でしょ。
Yeah, you know, you're a witch, this should be normal.
魔法のわけがない。ここはわらわの黄金鏡。わらわ以外の魔法は絶対に存在できない世界。そしてわらわの魔法でサクタロウを蘇らせることはできなかった。できるはずがないのだ。そのぬいぐるみは特別なぬいぐるみ。
I mean, yeah, it was special to
王
Maria.
座が娘の誕生日のために作った世界でたった一つの
Yep. You just thought it was that.
ね。魔法でしょ。
Yep, so shut up. Don't say any unnecessary things here, Beatrice. Just let it be, it's magic. With this miracle that she could not possibly accept, Beato understood all of my magic. And she looked at Maria and Sakataro innocently frolicking about, looked at me, and then fell to her knees, with even her hands pressed to the ground, and cried.
ベアトリーチェ、これは本当に魔法なんだよね。
Sure is, Maria.
魔法なんだよね。ベアトリーチェ。
Anjay called in a special favor to her good friends Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, and they went into hell and revived Sakataro. It's like that arc in the Mega Man show from the early 2000s where Mega Man gets deleted, but then they have to venture into like the trash bin or whatever to receive his like partitioned data to bring him back.
魔法であるぞ。それこそが本当の魔法であるぞ。
どうしてベアトにもできない魔法をエンジが使えるの？どうして？
That's her specialty.
エンジすごい。エンジはすごい魔女。
He sure
マリ
is.
アなんかよりもずっとすごい。本当の魔女だよ。
ええ、そうよ、お姉ちゃん。私は反言の魔女ヘンジェ。
Now strike a cool pose.
私に蘇らせられないものはないわ。
すごいよ、すごい。反言の魔法って一番難しいってベアトも言ってたのに。エンジはすごい。本当の大魔女なんだ。
At that moment, Maria and Sakataro's forms flashed gold, and the two became golden flower petals and crumbled away. As the two became a golden wind and swirled together, they left for some other place of peace. Beato had, as promised, banished Maria from the Golden Land. Come on, get your fucking ass back in that seat. Got a game to
さよな
finish.
ら、マリアお姉ちゃん。そしていつまでもお幸せに。大丈夫よ。お姉ちゃんの世界にも必ずあなたはいるわ。でもそれはあなたのことじゃない。
よかったな、マリア。わらわはそなたの親友としてその再会を。
a little jealous. That was a long pause. That was your own fault, Beatrice. You paused for like fucking 10 seconds on that one. Fuck you. As on Beato's face was a mixture of what was probably every expression a human could muster. That expression. It was joy, it was anger, it was sadness.
それが魔法の根源よね。愛がなければ、悲しみがなければ、怒りがなければ、魔法は見えない。
Was the B in there? It looked like it was an extra font bigger. No, it just seemed to be. Maybe it was, but we can't tell because we're in the backlog. Who knows? The ground shook. An earthquake gradually caused greater and greater fissures and began to tear Beatrice's final paradise apart. Golden butterflies fluttered about, trying to escape, but there was nowhere to escape to, nor for Beatrice. The golden land began to crumble away. The earth gave way like a floor falling through, and Beatrice was sucked into the depths of a jet-black darkness. Then, she was mercilessly slammed against a jet-black floor. It was a small, nondescript, very dimly lit smoking room. There was no door to exit by, and while there were windows, they let no light into this place, Beatrice's smoking room. Just hot box and all alone. Even as Beato moaned from the pain of being slammed against the cold hard floor, she shakily rose to her feet. A seat was there. And the game table, just as it had been when she had left it. The game board, too, was preserved in the same state in which Beato had abandoned it.
そこがあなたの席よ。座りなさい。
わらわに座るべき席はここしかない。
Beato put a hand against her own seat and laughed sadly.
勝つか負けるか、あなたに与えられるのはそれだけよ。それに行き着く過程での引き分けは許されるでしょう。でも中断して投げ出すことだけは許さない。勝って生き残るか、負けて消え去るか、そのどちらかになるまであなたはその席を立つことなんて許されない。それが魔女のゲームのホストである黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェの唯一の務めでしょ。
Laughing weakly, Beato sat down. Then she rested her elbows on the table, bad manners, covered her face with both hands, and managed to put together a smile with just her
勝
mouth.
てぬゲームを逃げることは許されぬか。ならばよかろう。わらわが負けるまで繰り返そうではないか。
何よ気弱な、勝ちなさいよ。あなたの最善手を尽くしなさい。あなたが始めたゲーム、あなたには最善手を指す義務がある。いい加減に優柔不断にふざけるのはやめて。
No throws allowed. Just then, there was a heavy sound. Beato felt a cold and pitiful sensation on her leg. Fucking chained to the table?
捕まえた。やっと捕まえたわよ、ベアと。
おや、大ラムダデルタ教ではないか。まだおられたとはな。
Beato's foot was locked in an ice-cold steel shackle, fastening her to the chair she sat in. She would no longer be able to escape from the seat.
もう逃げられないんだからね。私こう見えてもしつこいの。意外でしょ。
No, we know.
自覚がなかった方が意外であるわ。
あんたには中座も中断も許されてないのよ。永遠に戦うのよ。
She
勝つ
let
た
her
め
get
に
up for
ね。
bathroom breaks?
負けたくはないでしょ。負けたらどんな素敵な世界に叩き落とされるか、ちょっぴりだけ覗いてみたい。
Good.
大丈
I think
夫
we're
よ。
good.
勝てるわよ。この大ラムダデルタ教があんたが勝つまでつきっきりで
Oh,
永
great.
遠に面倒を見てあげ
How
るから。
thoughtful of you.
しかし戦いたくても
Yep, so fish him out.
わらわの向かいに対戦相手はおらぬぞ。
大丈夫よ。バトラーを見つけてきたの。
Do a little of his own soul searching. When Berkasel appeared and clapped her hands, Battler appeared from the sky and plopped down into the opposite chair. Battler's eyes were slightly opened, but there was no sparkle in them, almost like a doll. Without that one pillar that established his soul, he had fallen into the very depths of darkness and had been drifting about all this time. By rights, he should have dispersed and vanished like mist, but Castell had managed to scrape him together. It was surprising that she managed to bring him back into a human form. However, even though his body had returned, his soul had not. It was blown away wherein his existence was denied by Beatrice. It wouldn't come back easily.
バトラーもこの戦いは逃げないわ。あんたに勝つまでね、勝ち目がなくなってきたからって全て投げ出して逃げるなんて、そんな無粋を許しはしない。彼だってそんなことを望んではいないわ、でしょ。
She's in a pretty pickle right now. Battler didn't answer. His heart was still dead. His eyes wavered slightly at the question, but he could not answer.
バトラー、しっかり。あなたはここにいるわよ。そして敵は目の前にいる。戦って勝つために。
Battler lazily and incoherently parroted her words. He was back, but the trauma inflicted on his soul was no small thing. That was only natural. Beatrice had woven her red, and he had been denied. He had learned that the mother he had respected was not his birth mother, and he didn't know who he was.
自分は後ろ宮バトラではない。
I mean, you still are, you just aren't.
バカなこと言ってんじゃないわ。あんたは他の誰でもない後ろ宮バトラよ。誰が認めようと否定しようと、あなたがそれを信じなさい。あなたの世界はね、あなただけが作れるのよ。あなたが後ろ宮バトラである世界を失わないで。
じゃあ俺は誰なんだよ。おふくろの子じゃないんだぜ。俺はどこから
They found you in a cabbage patch. Battler asked while gazing lazily up at the ceiling with eyes that still couldn't regain their sparkle. Of course, she answered right away.
ええ、そうね。レアトが赤き真実で宣言したわ。だから私も宣言する。後ろ宮バトラは後ろ宮アスムの息子ではないわ。
なれば
Oh, hush. He's still
我
Ushimiya
がゲー
Battler.
ムの対戦相手の資格はないではない。
ベアトリーチェに復唱要求。後ろ宮バトラは後ろ宮金蔵の孫ではない。
As Beato wrinkled her forehead, a pained smile rose to her
復唱
face.
拒否ね。ベアトが宣言した2つの赤き真実。バトラはアスムの息子ではない。そして金蔵の孫であるバトラにしか
Yep.
対戦相手の資格がない。これに矛盾せずにバトラに資格を認められるのは以下の仮説よ。これが私の青き真実。ベアとの対戦相手の資格は金蔵の孫である後宮バトラであって、アスムの息子であるか否かは問題ではない。すなわちあなたはアスムの息子でなくても金蔵の孫であることはできる。ルドルフの息子でさえあるならば。
くだらない言葉遊び。
Man, Rudolph really got around, huh?
青き真実有効よ。ベアト、赤き真実での反論は赤き真実で受けられないならバトラの対戦資格は何の問題もない。
Battler was still out of it. He still couldn't really understand what she was saying for him. But even so, his spirit was starting to come back bit by bit.
じゃあ俺は誰なんだよ。
しっかりなさい。あんたは後宮バトラ。確かにアスムお母さんがあなたを産んだわけではないかもしれない。でもだから何？あなたにとって母親であることに何も変わりはないでしょ。例えばあなたにとって後宮エンジェは何？血は繋がってないかもしれないけど、それでも妹でしょ。血じゃないでしょ。絆でしょ。
そりゃそ
Oh,
うさ。
yeah, that's
エン
obvious.
ジェは血が繋がってなくても妹だ。
赤で言ってエンジェは妹だって言って。
エンジェは 俺の妹だ。
There we go. Easy, right?
あ家と
She hugged Battler, who was still out of it, and slumped in his chair, strongly from behind. So strongly that it hurt.
どういう事情でアスムお母さんがあなたの生みのお母さんじゃないかはわからない。でもあなたは今日まで、そして今でも母親だと信じてるでしょ。世の中にはね、母親さえ家族さえいない人だって大勢いるのよ。アスムお母さんはあなたを寂しがらせたことがある？ないでしょ。
Well, they said, you know, Kyrie and, what was her name? Azuma, you know, we were both pregnant at the same time, and, you know, only one kid made it. Wouldn't it be too hard to do a little swap-a-roo and not tell anyone?
あなたの平和だった家
Little
族を
clerical error at the hospital.
あんたは6年も家族の元から離れてたから家族の絆が希薄すぎるのよ。
One of them didn't make it. Oh, and it just so happened that, you know, the rightful heir, you know, Rudolph's, you know, legal son is, oh, look at that. He's the one who made it. Crazy.
もっともっと家族の絆を強く感じて思い出して、ハスムお母さんのためにもこんなくだらない魔女の妄言で愛情を失わない
And
で。
just, you know, Rudolph never told no one.
そうさ、おふくろはいつだってここはどこだよ。くれよ、帰りてえよ。俺の家族は、みんなはどこなんだよ。
The light still hadn't returned to Battler's eyes, but tears formed
お
there.
家であなたの妹が帰りを待ってるわ。せめてあなただけでも帰ってあげないと。彼女はいつまでも一人ぼっち。妹のためにもどうか魔女のゲームに勝って。
エンジェ、俺の妹。でもよ、わからねえんだ。どうして俺はベアトとこんなわけのわかんねえ。
I don't think that's the real thick of
ゲー
it.
ムを永遠に繰り返さなきゃならねえんだ。
Well, it's because you won't accept her as a witch.
もう嫌だ。
Then win,
早
yeah.
くこんなゲームに決着をつけてお家へ帰りなさい。後ろ宮バトラー、いつまでこんなところで遊んでいるの。妹が帰りを待ってるわよ。
That's right. Battler was caught up in this strange game before he even knew it, and unable to understand what he was fighting for, he was taken along at the witch's pace, toyed with and made to fight for a very long time. That should have been the simplest and first question. Not understanding that is why he loses his purpose for fighting. That's why my voice doesn't reach his ears. What he needs is not some vague purpose, like winning against the witch or because she's unforgivable. He needs to become aware of a purpose of which he must win. For which he must win.
そうだ、帰りたい。親父やおふくろ、エンジェのところに帰りたい。もう嫌だ。ここは嫌だ。もう魔女は嫌だ。ゲームも殺人も嫌だ。
Yeah, this
嫌
part
だ。
sucks.
嫌だ。
バトラの魂が戻りかけてる。
でもあとちょっとが届いていない。
Yeah, again, some packet loss.
もう嫌でしょ。
Get the Ethernet cable, download the
家族
soul
の元へ
without
帰るた
any
めに
issue.
も戦ってメアトリーチェを打ち破って帰ってきて。
嫌だ。もう魔女は嫌だ。ベアトも嫌だ。どいつもこいつも嫌だ。お前も嫌だ。お前だってどうせきっと魔女の仲間だ。いつまた裏切るかもわからない。何も信用できない。赤くない言葉は何も信用できない。俺に構うな。構うな。
Battler's soul howled. She hugged his head from behind, so tightly that it hurt.
早く帰ってきてお兄ちゃん。私を一人ぼっちにしないで。
お前、
I mean,
誰？
I know she's like Gretel right now, and her form is like weird and like imperceivable, but you know that
私よエンジェよ
should be pretty obvious.
お父さんもお母さんもお兄ちゃんも誰も帰ってこない寂しいよお願いだから早く帰ってきて
エンジェ、お前
Yes.
エンジェだったのか。
そうよエンジェよ誰も帰ってこない世界の後ろ宮エンジェ
Well, Ava came home.
私の家族は全てあの日の六軒島から帰ってこない目の前のあの魔女が家族を全てお兄ちゃんさえも奪い取ってしまったお兄ちゃんだけがあいつをやっつけられるあいつをやっつけてそして家族を取り戻してそして私のところに帰ってきて
ベアトが俺の家族を。
Mm-hmm.
そうと逃げも隠れもせぬわらわが後ろ宮エンジェ
Yeah, it was pretty
か
fucked
ら家
up.
族を奪ったバトラはわらわの玩具よその父親も母親もすべて玩具
Yep, that's right. Play the
そ
heel.
なたには返さぬ永遠に一人ぼっちで帰らぬ家族の帰りを待ってさまよい続けるがいいわ
No, big fucking talk, you know, for someone who's just moping in the corner themselves. From Anjay's arms that held him, the very painful, sad, and lonely days that his little sister felt all alone had gone through flowed into Battler. Because he had been playing around in a place like this, his little sister had been left all alone and had been forced to endure such painful days.
エンジェ、エンジェ、くそ。俺は何をやってたん
He's
だ。
just been spending all this time flirting with Beatrice.
エンジェ、お兄ちゃんは大切なことをずっと忘れていた。
Battler tried to turn around, but Anjay was clutching his head with an incredible force, so he couldn't. Sweat? Hot drops splashed the back of Battler's neck. What they were, he discovered by holding Anjay's arm as she clung to him. It's because it stained Battler's hand, his fingers red.
エンジェ、大丈夫か。おい。
Dripped and splashed. He didn't know what was going on. Battler couldn't tell for sure because he couldn't turn around. But the hot drops stained his entire back with surely
お
blood.
兄ちゃんを助けるためにここに来るために唯一守らなきゃいけないルールがあったのそれが
Yep.
これお兄ちゃんに私がエンジェだと知られてしまうこと辛かったよお兄ちゃんが目の前にいるのにそれを口にできないなんてこのルールさえ守ればずっと永遠にお兄ちゃんのそばに
Yeah, but that's not fair for all the other Anjays out there in the multiverse now, is it?
一緒に魔女と戦うゲームを永遠にでもそれじゃダメお兄ちゃんは帰らなきゃお家であなたの妹が待っているもの父親は私のことではないけれどそれで
Mm-hmm.
あなたの妹は救われる
エンジェ、エンジェ、こんなに違う。こんなに。
Wanted to turn around, but he couldn't because of how tightly Anjay was gripping his head. However, judging by the blood that was pouring out, Anjay's pain breathing, he realized that something seriously wrong was happening to her right now.
気にしないで私は所詮駒だからあのね
Mm-hmm.
ジェスデンはねサクリファイスって言うんだって
Give up a piece to make an opening.
サクリ。
なんだって？そんなことはどうでもいい。早く手当てを。この手を一度離すんだ。エンジェ。
サクリファイスと
Mm-hmm.
捨て駒のこと、戦略的展望のためにわざと損を承知で駒を見捨てることを言う。
The ultimate goal in chess is victory against the opponent. So sacrificing a few individual pieces is no problem. You can bring no problem if that can bring you to victory in the end. Anjay had made a level-headed decision. She had been told over and over again that she was a piece, not a player. In order to act like a piece and save Battler, right now, she herself needed to become a sacrificial piece. Battler had to be made aware. His purpose in playing this witch's game was must not be something abstract like finishing off the witch. He needs to win the game, he needs to release himself, and he needs to bring his family back home. Why? Because he has a family, a little sister, waiting for him to come home. Being created to bring Ushiromiya Anjay's voice to him. That is who Beatrice is, who I am. I was thinking capital Anjay works with Burn Castell, fucking crosswires. I'll use the piece I am as a sacrifice. To give Oni-chan the will to fight, to give him purpose. Oni-chan, my purpose is not to play with you in a witch's game for all eternity. I came to bring you, Ushiromiya Anjay's mourning and sadness. That is my unshakable purpose.
Anjay! Anjay!
The white, skinny arm holding Battler was pale and transparent, almost like wax. But it was stained so cruelly with fresh blood.
私はもう消えちゃうけれど、お兄ちゃんは頑張って戦って、きっと私のところへ帰ってきてね。待ってるよ、ずっと。お兄ちゃんをもっといっぱい
I mean,
手助けしてあげるつもりだったのに。
you did your best, and you certainly got a lot farther now than you know if you didn't show up.
ごめんね。
いいんだ。お前は俺に教えてくれたじゃねえか。どうして俺が勝たなくちゃならないか。そして俺が絶対に勝ってお前のところに帰ってやらなくちゃって。俺は何をこんなところでぼんやりと遊んでいた
You
んだ。
know, drinking tea, eating Runaway's cookies.
ああ、もうこんなところで遊んでなんかいないぞ。帰るからな、帰るからな。お土産持ってきっと帰るからな。
Found a cool rock.
いらないから一つだけ約束して。
なんだよ、何でも約束する。
この手を今から離すね。痛かったでしょ。ずっとしててごめんね。私は大丈夫だから振り返らなくて。
Yeah, it probably doesn't look too good.
だから最後にお兄ちゃんの一番かっこいいところを見せて、席を立って目の前の魔女を
Yeah, do a cool Phoenix Wright pose.
ゲームの再開を。
Yell Zen Zen Damhita really loud. Anja's hand slid and disappeared behind me. The stark marks of her fingers are left behind in the blood that had been oozing from her fingernails. But I turned around right away to take care of Anja's wounds.
エンジエンジ。
ああ、振り向いちゃダメってやっ。
エンジ。
It's like,
どこへ。
oh god, who's the guy in Greek mythology that, like, travels to Hades to get his dead wife? And then he like agrees, you know, Hades that is. And he's like, all right, you can go, but until you leave, you can't turn around to look at her. And then he does anyway, right at the exit, and like, oh, ooh, there she goes. Is that Orpheus? Behind my chair, as though about 10 watermelons packed with blood had all been smashed, there was a sticky, pulpy mountain. All around that mountain of blood and mincemeat, the clothes and shoes Anjay had been wearing, they crumpled as though they had been thrown off. As though a human's insides alone had been pulverized and discarded. As though Anjay, who had been standing there till just a second ago, had been crushed.
エンジェエンジェはどこだよ。エンジェはどこに消えたんだよ。おい、エンジェはどこに消えたんだよ。
The two young-looking witches said nothing, and just silently looked at the mountain of blood and meat and clothes. But I didn't want to accept it. I did not want to accept it. I did not want green eggs and ham.
わらわはそなたの正面でずっと見ていた。そなたの後ろでエンジェが。
It's pretty brutal, huh?
お前は知ってるのか。エンジェはどこへ行ったんだ。
生きながら焼けたでっかいペンチで一つま一つま親指大の大きさに全身の肉を引きちぎって捨てていくんだ。わらわは見ていた。魔女の釜で真っ赤に焼かれた無数の残忍な行為を一つまみ一つまみ肉をついばみひねる引きちぎる。
Brutal.
エンジェは誇っていい。兄と最後の言葉を交わすためにその苦痛の喘ぎを最後まで耐えたことを誇っていい。
Like how that happened. But rolling there, on that mountain of flesh and clothes, was without a doubt what she'd been wearing on her head. Those pink beads, hair ornaments. To be honest, I was thinking they were a bit too childish and didn't really suit her. So I remember them well. Why was Anjay wearing those cheap hair ornaments all this time? No. This can't be Anjay. It can't be. Daisuke, oh no, yeah.
バトルには見えてなかったんだから。蝶々になって飛んでいったとか言ってごまかしちゃえばいいのに。
At least I'm pretty sure that's who voices Battler. I can't remember.
お前らもそれを見ていたのか。エンジがバラバラに引きちぎられていくところを見ていたのかよ。見ててそんな平然とした顔をしてたのかよ。
No, they're witches. Just not capital W witches. Without answering, Vern Castell, Lamb Delta. Lamb Delta, there's an extra dun that I always forget about. And Beatrice looked at me. Some in pity, others in derision. She was calling herself Gretel. So, after what happened with Virgilia in the last game, I was thinking up until now she might be Beato's underling. And I was making sure not to trust her even though she was on my side. And then, just as I learned that it was actually Anjay, I'm not permitted to see her face. When I turn around, I find something like this. There you go, you guys happy?
良いではないか。妹のことなど。どうせそなたは永遠にここから帰れなどせぬ。そなたが帰らぬ世界の妹などどうなろうが知ったことではなかろうが、そなたがここで遊んでいる限り、無数の世界のエンジェが孤独となり、今の最後と同じ苦痛を10年以上にもかけて薄めて強いられる。だがそんなことはどうでもいいことではないか。ここにいるそなたには見えない。
Out of sight, out of mind.
観測できない。観測できない真実は赤き真実を用いねば立証できない。
だからエンジェのその後の不幸はそなたの杞憂かもしれない。案外ルドルフの遺産でのんびりと生涯
Oh
を
god, I
働
just
か
noticed
ず
her
に暮ら
sprite's
せてた
super
りして
weird
ね。
with like her curved lip when she talks. Like the pointed arrow part of like the well, from our perspective on our right for her left. Like when it goes up and she talks, like a little bit of the point gets left up there like under her eye while the rest of it like goes down, but it's still there, so there's like two of them. I guess you could say it's like a dimple. Like she has dimples when she smiles, but you know, that's not how it looks. It looks like it's just a leftover like artifact. Yeah, there it is. Ooh. It's like Kinzo's beard when he talks, how it just like stays there and his chin moves under it. That was a lie. From Anje's arm, every part of every part of the sad world that follows has poured into me in an instant. It's all because I kept on lazing about forever, playing in a place like this. I never thought about anyone but myself. I have to defeat her. I have to take back my family and come back to Anje, who's waiting for me as soon as humanly possible. Because even as I hang around with a witch like this, Anje's heart continues to be torn to bits by sadness.
エンジェ、お前が見たかったのはこれだよな。
Towards the cruel witch who had indifferently spoken of Anje's brutal last moments slowly. And yet, with all my might, I pointed.
ベアトリーチェ。ゲームの再開だ。もう俺は逃げねえし、お前も逃がさない。
望むところよ。
There we go.
わらわはもはや逃げも隠れもできぬ。わらわとそなたの決着を確実につけよう。どちらかが勝つ、どちらかが敗れて滅ぶ。
I was about to say they're both backed into a corner now because, you know, Beatrice can't go back to her golden land and, you know, Valerie's finally got his purpose, but it's more like they're stuck together in a box.
それ以外の結末は存在しない。
You know, nothing, you know, an item that is nothing but corners, basically.
俺は勝つ。どれほどの時間をかけ
How
ようと
fitting.
この勝負にもう妥協も中断も不先輩もない。俺は逃げない、逃がさない。俺を本気で倒しに来いよ。くだらない騙しもごまかしもおかしな交流も慣れ合いも一切必要ない。お前と俺は敵同士。一秒でも早く決着をつけて、俺はエンジェのところへ家族を連れ帰らなきゃならない。
揺るぎなき決意、絶対の意志、人間の絶対なる意志は絶対の魔力となる。それは奇跡に通じ、それを約束する。そう、これは約束された、絶対の奇跡。わらわの勝ちは100億に一つ。ひとかけらの奇跡も絶対になく、ありえぬということだ。
No.
わらわの足にはいつの間にか音もなく、もう片方の足には冷たく頑丈な
What is that one? Going to the table? One to the chair, one to
こ
the
の
table?
椅子に縛り付けて
Nope, both the chair. Okay.
わらわに残されたる
Holding in
運命
place.
バトラに殺され敗北すること、それを拒んで永遠に引き分けを繰り返すことのみ。いや、殺されるための心の整理がつくまで、引き分けを繰り返すの間違いか。いずれにせ
Ain't
よ
no way he's tapping out now.
敗れるためだけに戦わねばならない。もう永遠の鎖はわらわを縛り付けた。そしてバトラもまたみっともなく許しを請うか。
No.
同情を請うために哀れみの心に訴えかけるか。
No.
なりふり構わず土下座して
I mean, it would be funny, but still
鎖
no.
のせいでそれもかなわぬ。
I mean, you could like knock the chair over.
チェッ
And
ク
do
メ
it.
イト。これは完全なる爪だ。だがわらわは黄金の魔女ベアトリーチ、黄金鏡に君臨したる黄金の魔王。敗れるための戦いであってもわらわにはふ さわしき態度がある。そしてわらわにふさわしき散り際を飾る権利。
Make it dramatic as possible. Give it a little pizzazz.
わらわとて同じ。そなたに我が魔法を存在を認めさせて、この島に黄金鏡の扉を開く。そなたはその最初の茶会の主賓となるだろう。そなた以外は全員がすでに揃っているぞ。
Yeah, we've
主
seen
賓
that
の
last
到
time.
着が遅れているからいつまでも茶会が開けない。そなたの父親も母親もいとこたちもみんな
That food's getting cold.
お前の到着を待ちくたびれているぞ。
ああ、上等だぜ。まったくにもって上等だ。何が魔法だ、何が魔女だ。お前との遊びはこれまでだ。行くぞベアトリーチェ。
存分に来るがよいぞ。妥協も中断も
Yep.
先輩もない。どちらかが勝ち、どちらかが滅ぶ。お前に負ける意志がないというのはわらわを倒すしかない。殺すしかない。しかしわらわはむざむざと殺されはしない。
I mean, clearly, it'd be a little
わら
anticlimactic
わ
if
に
you did.
ふさわしき最後をそなたが用意できるので、抵抗を繰り返すことができる。そなたにそれができるか。いや、できるだろう。必ずできるさ。来いよ。殺し。やりにくいか
Not really.
ならばいつもの調子でいく。
There we go.
殺されるかよ。せめて勝てなくてもお前に勝ちを譲らない程度の嫌がらせはできるんだぜ。ほう、いい面構えだ。殺して
Ever
み
the
ろ。
thespian.
殺してみろよ。後ろ見やバトル。
Must have gotten that from hanging out with Kinzo for so much. Oh, I can't read all that! I also skipped over her big, like, battle roar. Oops, sorry, Beatrice. Hey, look at that! Wow, episode 4 done. Ain't that crazy? I was told the tea party for this one's gonna be a long one, so, yeah, that's, ain't gonna happen. Also, no end credits scene. Which I guess makes sense, because technically it didn't end, you know? There was no, like, I don't know, trial phase there at the end where, you know, Battler pitches his theories and Beatrice strikes them all down and then, you know, he gets fucking killed. But hey! Anyway, that might be next time on the next episode of Umineko. Probably not, because now that we're done episode 4, now the next one's just 5, 6, 7, 8, which I think are the answer arcs, maybe? I'll double check so I know what to, like, actually label my videos. But, once again, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. See you all next time for the next episode of Umineko, where we will be doing the tea party and maybe the question mark scene, depending if it's there, and also if, you know, it doesn't make the episode too long. Catch you guys later. Bye.